The following has been brought to you by SJP World Media.
You're listening to In the Corner with BenNny Mac. Unfiltered, uncensored, and unforgiving. Here's the man in the corner, BenNny Mac.
Welcome to In the Corner. It's the 9th of November already. This year is going way too quickly. Got some great, we've got some good stuff to talk about, good or bad. I don't know how you want to look at it as we go along. I'm sure we will. Joining me, my co-host, all the way from the US of A, Mr. Tyler. How are you, sir?
I am doing fantastic, Benny. How are you, my friend? It's always just a pleasure and a thrill to join you for another episode of In the Corner.
Well, throw the hot tag over to you because we're in the corner. Coming up to, well, we the ones, as we said off the air.
Yeah, we are the ones. By the way, Si, we represent the new bloodline.
Yeah, that's Si is the wise man, as we've come up with.
Yeah, he's our Paul Heyman, and I don't know about you, Benny, but I'm feeling oozy today.
I feel oozy every time I get behind the mic and get the chance to talk to yourself. A little bit behind the scenes, I will say. We've jumped
I'm
on.
blushing.
Right, well, you put me over last week. We're going to put you over this week. We'll take it in turns. 45 minutes later, we finally start recording the show after some random conversation and just laughing and joking about whatever we were talking about, to be honest. And I wish
it was very interesting. Yeah, I wish you would have recorded it. I love random conversations because it's just a lot of fun. See, we have a lot of good times even before we record a new episode.
Absolutely. Well, I tell you what, I'm reluctant to call it After Dark. We might have to put some extra stuff on a Wednesday going forward. Not all the time, but there may be. Not now, but they're not this episode. I will say I don't want you sitting there like a Marvel film and waiting for the cutscene at the end of this podcast. But there will be, hopefully going forward, we might sneak some extra random conversations that we had before we actually came on the air. Basically, I think it might be quite funny for some of the people to hear some of the things we talk about. Really.
Oh, it's very entertaining. We were actually even laughing, and when you mentioned After Dark, I'm wondering what that's all about. I'm a little bit intrigued. So there's going to be a lot of surprises. Are we going to get the return of the Attitude Era years? Who knows? Because it's After Dark. No, I'm just teasing. But seriously, it'll be some good stuff. Just great content by your host, BenNny Mac. And I'm looking forward to it. I hope we get to do more of that.
Yeah, hopefully so. Yeah, I mean, I see After Dark is everybody uses that because of AEW, but like I'm trying to think of a name that we could maybe. I don't want to say outtakes necessarily because they're not really outtakes. It's just us shooting the breeze. Maybe call it the shoot the breeze section. I don't know. I'm trying to think of a name. If you can think of a name, ladies and gents, and on Twitter at InTheCornerWWE or email the show at InTheCornerWWE@gmail.com. And I'm trying to think of a name for it.
Help us out.
Yeah, man. Well, we've literally just come on the air now, and I was going to go straight into Raw and start talking about it, but it just felt wrong not to at least acknowledge the ones that we are.
Yeah, you've got to acknowledge us, and I'll tell you, I'm making the hot tag back because I'm taking a beating on the hands of Matt Riddle and the New Day. Uh-oh, I gave some away, but
we need Si to distract them while we
where is
double
Si?
team.
We've got to have somebody hand us a foreign object, and by the way, somebody get Benny a bong.
That was hilarious. I'm not gonna lie. Who wants to hit my bong? I need to get a bong sound. Damn it! I'm gonna get a bong sound for next Wednesday.
We do. We got to get sound effects. It's like the SNL skit with Christopher Walken. We need more cowbell. We need more bong.
I mean, you can't hear it, Tyler, but I can do a shoosh please from Chad Gable. I can do that. I've got that to hand.
You can do that from Chad Gable.
I've got. Well, again, you're not gonna hear. I'm gonna. Play
I am at your mercy now.
I'm gonna play it, but. Choose, please. I mean, I can play it, but you can't hear it, unfortunately, from your end. So we've got to sort these sounds out. But yeah, I got some sound effects here, but not many. So I'm gonna have to update the back catalogue of sound effects here so we can do some of the. I was thinking about doing the Austin.
You're incredible. Don't worry about it. I think that's just amazing. I mean, that shows you your versatility, Benny.
I'm just bored, mate. I got nothing else to do with my time apart from watch wrestling.
You're a producer. You're not just bored. You're using, at least if it's boredom, to be creative. Just think of it.
I never thought of it like that. I never thought of it like that, to be honest. So there we go. Put me over again, Tyler. Stop. OMG, it's Tyler on the In the Corner. There we go. Right.
You paid me too much over the years. I can't help it.
Damn. I wasn't paying you, Tyler, so I don't know whose money that is. But yeah, make sure you fund it with the, what is it? What do you call it over there? IRS or something? make
sure IRS. Okay, Johnny Gargano. Who am I, the Miz?
Well, trying to stalk SJP. There you go. Anyway. So
the truth comes out.
There we go. It always comes out eventually. So obviously we've had Raw this week. Was Monday. Obviously we're going to talk about Crown Jewel as well. Obviously, Tyler, we got our Superstar Focus on Twitter at In the Corner WWE, and as I check it right now, because I mistimed the length of when it should end. It should have ended like today, but it's still technically still going. Whether it's still
got new life.
It's still going. It's getting some, it's making a comeback, as they say. It's like Mick Foley's coming out retirement match for the 9th time.
It's going to be the three faces of Foley, not just Mick Foley coming back. It's going to be Mankind, Dude Love, and Cactus Jack all rolled up into one. I mean, it's just unreal. The booking that BenNny has done, and now the fans, the feedback, we appreciate it. And I can't wait to see. But, yeah, it seems like Bray Wyatt is winning the poll. And they voted over here in the States, midterm elections. You know who I voted for? I voted for me, BenNny.
There you go. Do you know who I voted for? I voted for me as well, so don't worry about it.
I love it. I think you'd make a perfect candidate.
I doubt it. I wouldn't know where to start. I don't like British politics, let alone anybody else's politics, to be totally honest.
I don't like politics either.
Yeah, too much
that's
faffing.
Something we can agree on. Yeah.
There you go. Look, we can work together. That's all it is. Across the pond.
We have came together for the better good of wrestling.
As we said, we are the ones. Anyway, move on. It's getting there already. Yeah, the polls still technically go. I forgot to say, I'm going to kind of throw this upon you now. You want to start thinking, Tyler, who would be your next week's Superstar Focus? Obviously, I haven't actually thought about it either, so we're both on an even playing field. But at the end of the show, we'll say who we're going to put in the poll for next week. But I didn't message you that, so I apologize in advance. But
no, it's a good thing to think about. I'm kind of going along the lines of maybe we need to honor some of the women. So let's maybe choose a female this time.
Okay,
it's up to you. It's your show.
No. I'll go. Well, you've won the poll, so I'll tell you what. We'll go for a female superstar then. Diva, or wrestler, whatever I'm supposed to say these days. Female wrestler is the way I normally say it, but for some reason I said diva, which I haven't said for years, but there we go.
It works. Everybody will forgive you if you said divas, because that was just part of the women's division. That you said nothing wrong, and I'll back him up. Okay, listen, if you want to come at me, you can.
I tell you what, take a lesson from JBL this week again on on Raw with his
JBL. Hey, he's coming for everybody, the millennials, and I'm sitting behind my keyboard. That's how tough I am.
There you go. Yeah. I reckon we should reopen the APA Protection Agency, and we call it the Ty and BenNny Protection Agency.
No, we should. We need a protection agency. We need to call Farouk, Ron Simmons back, and JBL. I need my MC Hammer suit pants back, please. And I love JBL, but I can't help it. Since Gargano brought it up and everybody seemed to make a meme or have a pic of it on social media, at least the man is tall enough he can wear them. For me, it would look like a dress because I'm so short. But kudos to JBL, John Bradshaw Layfield. God bless Texas. God bless Benny Mac and this show. Gosh almighty, I'm Hopper, but we love it.
Damn! There you go. Let's move on. So yeah, Bray Wyatt's winning the poll. We'll talk a little bit about Raw and some of the stuff that's gone on already this past week, and then we'll dive into that Crown Jewel and see who got what right in what matches.
We'll try. Do I still have the predictions wins at least so far? Or was that a tease that you finally got the win back on me?
I don't know yet. To be honest, Tyler, I've gone through them and got the results, but I haven't actually looked who we picked because I don't know who got what. So I know we went at least with one the same, so we both got at least one on that one. But I haven't purposely looked at it, so we can go through it once we spoke a bit about obviously Raw. Superstar Focus, and then we'll get into Crown Jewel, obviously.
That's fair. I trust you. I was just very intrigued because, with all these premium live events, I'm hoping to retain, but hey, Benny's a great challenger, a worthy competitor, and
You
and
won. You won
contender.
Extreme Rules, didn't you? You did win Extreme Rules.
Yeah,
and you,
I did win Extreme Rules, and I'm not much for the gimmick matches or hardcore, but for some reason, I won that one.
you got it right, man. I mean, we
It must
obviously
be because Sai is Paul Heyman. There's got to be something to that. And it's a new conspiracy.
there you go.
Sai Powell has influenced Extreme Rules.
Well, then you were only a guest, and it was only going to be probably maybe a one-off, or maybe every now and again. But now you're on every Wednesday with me, which I very much enjoy, and hopefully people are enjoying so far as well. Obviously, your second show.
I'm
as
having
co-host.
fun. Yeah, and I don't, and part of me don't mean to interrupt you, Benny, but I'm just having a blast. I want everybody to know this is a just phenomenal time. With all due respect, AJ Styles, shout out to you, the OC, the Bullet Club. I mean that's some of the words I want to borrow from to describe this Emmy award winning, this Golden Globe award winning. Yeah, I'm putting all the awards. I mean, whatever the awards are in the UK. I know enough about the US awards. It doesn't matter because it is stellar, always in the corner.
I appreciate
Now,
it.
somebody, quit putting my head on the top turnbuckle. I'm saying a lot of things, but I mean them. It's true.
Check and make sure I've got concussion, because the show's good, but I don't know if it's that good. But there we go. Get that hot tag
It's
back
good.
in.
Yeah, you're humble. That's all it is. Leave it to me to brag, and
Well, I mean, we were talking off air. To be fair, the Twitter followers are climbing up there, and I appreciate it. And I did get a bit of praise over there on Chain Wrestling the other day.
they are. So Chain Wrestling gave you a shout out.
Well, they've mentioned me a couple of times. Sometimes bad, sometimes good, but we'll take it.
Yeah, you got to take it, but that is so compelling because Sai, he tries to shout out me, but I don't know what I've done. I think maybe I'm like Jey Uso. I'm going to have to go to him and see what the problem. Maybe see Roman Reigns. I've tried my best. Maybe Benny, you can help me out. You can, as one of my tag team partners, please.
Well, we are going to be we'll be a tag team. We'll be the longest reigning, whatever they want to do. I don't know what it is, but we're longest reigning tag team champs ever, probably at some point.
And I don't care who challenges us. We're going to be the ones, pardon the pun. I mean, we are, and we're going to be the reigning, defending tag team champions. It's the UK-US connection.
I like that. The US-UK connection. Write that down, Tyler. That's a T-shirt right there. I like that. US. I'm going to write that down now, actually, before I get it, because I thought of an idea the other day of a T-shirt, and then I forgot what it was. So, US-UK connection.
Well, it makes me often go back to the Can-Am connection, the old tag team. So for some reason that clicked. I've heard a lot of people use different analogies. And what can I say? Even a blind squirrel can find a nut sometimes.
A broken clock is right twice a day, as they say as well. So, I understand. That's another way of saying
brilliant.
it.
Put that on a shirt.
Well, to be fair, mate, it's quite a well-known saying over in the UK, so I don't know whether it's copyrighted. I have no idea. Although, as Sai says on his T-shirt on Chain Wrestling, fuck copyright. Anyway.
It's a shame. See, Sai, it looks like he's got attorneys that could work for us and get into the legal issues, the legalities, and all the copyright, stuff and cut through it. So we need to work on that. But if it's a common saying, you may have a point there. That shows you that I need to be educated in everything the United Kingdom, because that's what's neat about it.
Well, again, the conversation off air was really good. This is why we should have recorded it, really. It was an interesting conversation. But anyway, people have hopefully tuned in, not just for that, but also some wrestling stuff. I do want to do a mention quickly before we talk about Raw, Ty. And it's because we did speak about it on the Crown Jewel predictions.
Oh, we did.
That we thought maybe Damage Control would get a rematch for their tag titles. It wasn't announced when we recorded the show and when we spoke. But as it turned out, they did. And obviously we didn't put a guess in for it because it wasn't officially a match. But maybe we should get a point each for thinking it was going to happen. I don't know. But Damage Control recaptured the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships over there on Crown Jewel. But it wasn't actually on our list of matches when we discussed it. So...
They pulled a fast one on us. We guess maybe there could be some more matches added. I believe we each ought to get a point. We should get a 1, 2, 3, a submission, a high-risk maneuver, whatever you want to call it, and put in there, Benny, out of respect, because you're like the Godfather and I'm a I don't want to be Fredo. I'll be.
Nobody wants to be.
I
Fredo.
can't be Sonny. I'm not high tempered, but maybe I could be Robert Duvall's character, Tom, the console Yeti.
I know what film you're talking about, but I've never seen it, and I'm going to get a lot of flack for that. But I've never seen it.
Well, now go watch it. I mean, whenever
Okay,
you
see you
got
later.
time. Not that I need to convince you. Yeah, just leave the show and
You,
watch
can,
The Godfather.
you got it. Well, you can make it a handicap match with the listeners, and I'll go watch The Godfather.
And now your followers are gone.
The only Godfather I know is what was in wrestling and getting on the hoe train. So that's about it. That's
Well, that's a classic Godfather as well.
There you go. Cool. Well, I put us with a point each on that one because we both agree, and we did speculate that this would happen. It did happen. But yeah. Anyway, Monday Night Raw. The biggest thing to come out of Raw this week, and I think a lot of people are talking about it, Ty, and it is basically the Money in the Bank and the whole US title main event sort of debacle that went on. Really. I mean, there's a lot of negative. I mean, I was listening to another podcast. I'm not going to say who it is. They got enough followers as it is. But one of the hosts was absolutely going mental and saying they've never said that you can't you cash in for a mid card title and all this stuff. Now I was like, I don't think you're right with that. So I actually went back to, they may have done before, but what I'm basing it on, Ty, is basically I went back to this year's Money in the Bank, which is when this show started.
Right.
We did our preview and everything like that, like we do now. Then with NJB was on with me. And the announcer for the men's, I don't know about the women's, so I didn't look at it. I just looked at the men's because this is the issue. The announcer, this is the exact words she used, right? So obviously, this is the following, this is a Money in the Bank ladder match, for the Money in the Bank briefcase, blah, 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 the usual. Then she goes through the stipulation, and he goes, and then basically it's for a championship match, anytime, any place, for up to 1 year. She doesn't say for the heavyweight championship. She says for a championship match. So, would I have cashed in for the United States title? It's a prestigious title. I am not knocking it at all. Harley Race, etc., all these people that have held it. But if I've got the briefcase, would I cash in for that one? I might go for the IC title because that's my belt. I would always love that belt, but it's a
great championship.
Yeah.
And you brought up something there, Benny. I didn't recall was that the announcer had phrased it in such a way so it would make sense to why it wasn't just for a world title like the United States title you were remarking about. And the Intercontinental title, I've always been a big fan of both those titles, especially the IC title, because that's always known as your kind of worker's belt. And not that the U.S. title has not. I mean, you mentioned Harley Race, for crying out loud, a legend. But I'll let you go on. Didn't mean to interrupt.
No, that's absolutely fine.
That was some fascinating points that I'd have to go back and review that you don't always catch, even on ring introductions. So that's actually making a lot of more sense now.
What I should have done was captured the audio of what she says. But yeah, she says the winner is the person that removes it, obviously, from the hook, blah, blah, blah. You know how the ladder match works. If you listen to this show, you're a wrestling fan. And it's for a championship match, anytime, any place, for up to 1 year. Those are the exact words that they use. Now, they could have probably explained it better. They could have done a bit more to say why Theory cashed in, because bearing in mind he has already been a United States champion.
He has,
but it's very hard to get to Roman Reigns, whether it him not be there or whether it's when he is there, he's surrounded by the bloodline. So how do you get to Roman when he's not vulnerable? Because that's when you're going to cash in, especially against Roman Reigns at the moment. If you're going to cash in, you want to do it against a guy that's been beat down, and Roman Reigns has been on fire, champion for over 2 years. So just a little backstage segment just to go, when are you going to cash this in, Theory? Oh, I might, I don't know. Because Roman's never here. How can I get to him? And then the bloodline, and maybe they could have spent a little bit of time just sort of explaining his thought process.
They could have added some even little details into the bigger picture. Yeah, everybody's been complaining, and I always try to, take time and collect my thoughts before just responding and being one of those that it's popular narrative to be angry and upset. And does it bury Austin Theory, pardon me, with adding his first name. I'm so used to calling him just by Theory for a
Yeah.
long time. So I try to examine it, and I know you have too, Benny, and hearing the other podcasts and hearing so many ideas. So I've tried to refrain from them. My normal listening to other podcasts for that reason, because I didn't want to get my opinion changed. I don't know that it necessarily buries Austin Theory. I just feel maybe it's just something as easy as a change in creative direction. And there could be another possible situation where maybe Austin Theory can win back the Money in the Bank. So there's so many ways to look at it. It's almost hard to dissect it even after watching Raw.
Yeah, I mean, just for the people that may have somehow missed it or may have only seen clips of it, Rollins early in the night was coming out and going to do a US title open challenge. What actually transpired initially at Raw, Judgment Day came out, which was always cool. Judgment Day, in terms of a heel faction, are very much the go-to on Raw, I would say at the moment.
Yeah, I'm a big supporter. I think that's one of the more over factions are the Judgment Day. Just to your point, I concur, my friend.
Yeah. But before we had a chance to really get, I think it was going to be Finn, because he referred back to SummerSlam a few years ago when Finn became Universal Champion, the first ever Universal Champion, but unfortunately had to relinquish the bout because of a shoulder injury, because of Seth in that match, basically, so what he's referring to. But before anything could really get going, the OC come out. I've got to mention this as well, because I just realised we had a re-debut of... so the OC have they've got to fix the rear problem apparently, and that's Mia Yim, which we did actually talk about briefly last Wednesday, because we heard the rumor that possibly that was who it was going to be.
Yeah, we did. I mean, that was a rumor that was circulating. A lot of people were fueling the speculation regarding Mia Yim, and I'm happy she's back. Unfortunately, I have to give credit to where credit's due. I saw the clip, and somebody had mentioned this, that unfortunately it didn't get the reaction that I think they were hoping for. But regardless, I am so thrilled to see her back, because they do have a history when talking about Rhea Ripley and Mia Yim going back, like the commentators had highlighted, going back to NXT, that brand.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know too much about her, to be totally honest, because I saw a little bit of her in NXT, but not enough. As we were saying off air, we watch Raw, SmackDown, and then obviously, trying to have a life as well and trying to watch NXT. I try to, when, like you said, when there's a premium event, but generally it's fallen by the wayside. It fell by the wayside for me because of NXT 2.0. It just didn't. I was like, how can you take this? I don't know. Maybe it needed a revamp. I don't know. I was enjoying the product as it was. Sometimes
it altered everyone's perception because the way they presented it, and everything has to evolve.
Of course,
I see what they were doing, but I think a large portion of the audience, including yourself, just had varied opinions, and not that they were not positive, but how can you change this thing that's been such a juggernaut and has reinvigorated a lot of people's passion in the WWE brand, even though it's viewed as developmental, with all the takeovers and the big shows they've been featured. So I've always, had a mixed feelings as it pertains to the new NXT. And you're so correct. It's so hard to digest every wrestling show. So I'm similar to everyone. I have to wait till there's a premium live event for NXT with Raw and SmackDown. So yeah, Mia Yim, I honestly don't know a whole lot about her. I followed her more in NXT, saw where she wound up in Impact for a while and knew her contract was running up, and that was all the rumors and rage, and everybody wondered, is Charlotte coming back? Is some other bigger star? But I was glad that they are saving some of those stars, because you have to build some new talent, even in the women's division, whether it's the men's division. And Mia Yim, she's very talented, and I like the program that her and Rhea is going to have, but I worry it's going to be a little underwhelming, just because a lot of people, the newer audience, I know the established fans know of Mia Yim, and this is with all due respect to her with regards to Yim, but is it going to fall a little bit flat, even though I'm intrigued by this whole Rhea and Mia encounter.
Yeah, I'm interested to see where it goes. They've announced one War Games match, and that's sort of the Damage Control and Bianca Belair and her team, basically. I was under the impression that possibly one of them was going to be OC and Judgment Day. I don't remember if they actually said that that's what was going to happen, but it just ended up being more of a beatdown, didn't it, really, with Mia Yim joining or being a part of the OC for whether it's permanent or whether it's a just until Survivor Series is done. I don't know. But
yeah, because she used a weapon, and you brought up a fantastic point at War Games. So it all clicked, even though I had watched Raw, that why she used the cane. Because War Games, you can use weapons, if I'm correct.
But I mean,
so
that's the only one that's been mentioned, obviously. Yeah, it makes sense to me, but obviously maybe they want the Brawling Brutes in the Bloodline, maybe, from SmackDown to be one of the War Games matches as well. I'm assuming.
I don't think they're finished. I agree with that rivalry just yet because it's building up the Brawling Brutes, and they could get a victory over the Usos because the tag titles would not be on the line. So this is probably the best way around the Brawling Brutes not being necessarily buried or having to, not even buried, just take a loss. That's a little bit strong of a term.
Yeah.
For them to get back. There's a lot of intrigue into War Games, having these matches reintroduced back and make Survivor Series really feel like you have to survive because you've got these cages and these two rings together. It's reminiscent of the old nostalgic War Games matches.
Yeah, I mean, I want to refer to Chain Wrestling quickly. It was on Monday. They had the 100th episode. Congratulations to them. But the reason I bring them up is not only it's a great show, and you should check it out Monday nights, ladies and gents, or listen to the podcast version, which will be out sometime today, if it's not out already. But Steve-O brought something up because he was guesting on the show, and they were watching the Royal Rumble 2000. And he's got a great point of view with it because in the Rumble match, they actually look like they want to win the match. And this is a good opportunity. This is why I'm saying it, because at Survivor Series with War Games, and this is a big pay-per-view, and Survivor Series is one of the big ones, isn't it? Or it used to be.
Oh, it is. I mean, the Survivor Series was one of the hallmarks. You think
Absolutely,
about it,
yeah.
Like with Rumble. And yeah, credit to Steve-O. Congrats to Chain Wrestling. It is an amazing program. Hard to believe it's been that many episodes. Just want to add that. But I'm with you. Survivor Series, to me, you've got to make these events special again and make them feel big. And for a while, it's just kind of not felt that way, at least for me.
Yeah.
And now with this whole concept, let's get the War Games matches that we're so used to seeing. You spoke of it in NXT as the black and gold brand.
Yeah.
Why not add that element to the main roster? Because hey, it was featured a lot of stars prior, and even in NXT. I'm not taking away from that brand either, but this is a good way to elevate that show, even though it was one of the big programs they had or pay-per-views back then.
Yeah, and I think, like I said, they've got an opportunity here where you can have those matches and they can look like they want to win, like the feud that's brewing between. Again, we spoke about this last week, but. And no disrespect to any of the women, Bianca Belair, Nikki Cross. I love the fact that she's gone back to the way she was before. I'm waiting big things to this. She did win the 24/7 championship this week and tried to dump it in the bin.
I did see that.
It didn't quite go in the bin, but the premise is there that I would assume the 24/7 title is no more, which I'm not that bothered by. I'm actually quite glad because let's face it, it's the PG version of the hardcore title. That's what it is. It had its moment. It did have some good, funny moments, but it's fallen by the wayside. And I feel like, there was rumors about a month ago about a European title possibly making a comeback.
I did hear the same rumor about the European title.
But whether that's true or not. But in terms of the War Games match that's been announced, and I don't want to disrespect anybody in terms of Asuka, Alexa Bliss, Bianca Belair, Bailey, Dakota Kai, Sky, Nikki Cross, or anything like that. The War Games match could be good between these teams, and obviously we've still got two to be mentioned on Bianca's team and one more on Bailey's team. But the Judgment Day OC, if you're going to do it from Raw, I'm not trying to be. I don't want to be accused of anything here, but I feel the story between the Judgment Day and the OC has more validity than what does Damage Control and Bailey and all that in Bianca Belair. If that makes any sense, I just feel like I would rather see that because the other storyline, I feel like it's because Bailey, we're going to talk about it in a moment at Crown Jewel, because of the results of Crown Jewel, I feel like that, we both said, I think we said it's a bit stale, but I think maybe this rivalry's run its course.
I think it has to, and it's as simple as why Bianca, challenged Damage Control to War Games. It needs to end, and I think it probably should have ended before now. Even though I'm all about long-term storytelling and planning out these stories, I just hate to say it because I've got nothing but respect and admiration for Bayley, Dakota Kai, and Io Sky.
100%.
And they are the tag team champions. And as much as I'm with you, I like the crazy Nikki Cross character making a comeback. I just can't get into this. I think it's like reruns. I mean, that's harsh.
I want to get into it as well, but there's nothing there for me to go, yeah, I want to see that. There's nothing. And maybe the special, like the secret missing tag team. There's a tag team missing. There's 2 women missing on Bianca's team, and there's 1 missing on Bayley's team. So that's got me intrigued, and I'm wondering, are we going to see Sasha and Naomi? Maybe that's an interesting thought. But other than that,
a lot of people are assuming we may, just because I think there's pictures of Sasha training even in Mexico, different countries. And there's a belief that, we'll see the former tag team champions of the women's division return, and Boston is Banks' hometown. There's a lot to be desired whether they're going to show up. But this is where we normally see surprises, maybe the returns you're talking about, Benny. But with Damage Control, as talented as a group is, if you're overexposed, not just that, but it seems to feel too much monotonized, the same. It just can fall very short of, I think, the results they were trying to convey, on screen. I mean, there has to be a change. That's why I think War Games is a welcome modification. Like you aforementioned, you've got a lot of possible wrestlers that could show up and fill these spots. And I think that's going to help it. Or part of me help them, but it needs to be finished. I can't help it.
It might be one of the best matches on the card. That's the thing. These women could do it. Just in terms of the story, it's run its course for me. But
I mean, they're capable.
Absolutely, yeah.
But that's the big difference. It's all the story. This angle is just another way to look at it. It's like a good show, but once you've seen it 20 times or more, it starts getting a little bit old.
I use a film analogy here, and it's like the American Pie movie that came out in 1999 when I was younger. Brilliant movie. Second one, good movie.
Very funny.
Third movie, yeah. And then they did all these other stupid ones after. Then they did a reunion. It's like, yeah, all right, we know. So, yeah, not that they've done as many as American Pie, but yeah, I think we're both on the same page with that. Let us know your thoughts, ladies and gents. Like I said on Twitter before, at In The Corner WWE, or email the show, inthecornerwwe@gmail.com. These are our opinions. Doesn't mean they're right, but that's the way we feel as we've watched this week's Raw. Really,
hey, we're passionate. I'm not saying they're correct, but I was going to tease and say they're always right. But I can't help it if other people are wrong. No, but I'd be I would be dishonest. Of course, it's all opinion based, but we want to have fun too. So we'll try to make it like at least I will. I know how to book this stuff, and I don't. But I digress. just work with me, people. Come on, I'm desperate.
Yeah, don't pick on Ty, my tag team partner, my co-host. How dare you? So
I'll come back at you with a mean tweet. No, I won't. Please follow the show. Yeah, we need you.
Before we get onto the Seth Rollins fully, and obviously, we did talk about it briefly, but obviously we'll get to the finish and stuff. We did have Miz versus Gargano. Miz actually was I genuinely thought, Ty, he got pulled under the ring at one point. Now, what I should say quickly before I say that is Gargano exposed the Miz from basically paying Dexter Lumis to be his stalker for a little while. Then things got too hot, so Miz stopped paying him, and that's why then he became genuinely stalking him. Johnny Gargano managed to get proof by sending someone in to be a fake agent for a film or something like that.
No, it was. She was undercover, and
That's it,
Miz
yeah.
didn't realize
A
he
PI,
was
that's
being
it.
filmed.
That's it, yeah. So, but yeah, so they have a match. There's a great meme actually on Twitter with. I actually posted some. You may have seen that in the corner WWE. And
I thought they were classic. What you were doing with them.
You can go. I'm not going to tell you what they are. Go to In the Corner. At In the Corner WWE on Twitter. Basically, the blank screen before the picture comes on of what's going to be shown. Johnny Gargano actually tweeted out this is very open for memes. I put a couple of things on there that I thought were quite funny here and there, but there we go. You have to make your own mind up. I'm not going to tell you what they are. You need to go to Twitter at In the Corner WWE and have a look. But Miz does defeat Gargano via pinfall, but using underhanded means. Now Miz ends up outside the ring at one point, and it looks like he's getting dragged under the ring. Now when I first saw it, Tyler, I actually genuinely thought Dexter Lumis was under the ring pulling him under. Now he comes out with a turnbuckle strut in hand and just calls the referee over and says, somebody's under the ring, they grab my legs. And the referee's looking, can't see it, and he looks again, and then as Gargano tries to grab Miz, he hits him with the turnbuckle strut and wins the match 1-2-3. When I saw the replay, I can see actually Miz is actually pushing himself under the ring, and I was genuinely thought somebody was under there. I thought maybe somebody was helping him at first to make it look like it, or maybe it was Dexter Lumis, but when I saw the replay, Miz very slyly makes it look like he's been pulled under the ring. And I genuinely, as it happened live, believe that's what was happening.
Yeah, it means it was effective. It took me a couple more glances, too, because we all know how Loomis has been planning his attacks.
Exactly. We're almost conditioned to it, aren't we, to a degree? So
no, we are. I mean, we're so used to it. Would be another way, too. Conditioned, that's a great word, reference there. The Miz is just showing his intellect, even though Gargano has experience. I mean, the Miz has more, at least on the main roster, is that star. With all due respect, the A-lister, he is awesome. But that was pretty clever. Didn't expect him to use the turnbuckle in that manner to get the advantage on Gargano. So very nicely played by the Hollywood star, the Miz, not only a wrestler, as he would remind everybody, and rightfully so. Everybody needs to quit getting onto the Miz. Gargano, where's Benny Mac's alter ego as the heel commentator doing his Corey Graves? How dare Johnny Gargano?
Yeah, how
Johnny
dare he
wrestling
do that?
with all this video footage. The Miz just wanted to pay him so he could help out his career. There's nothing wrong with that. Breaking the law, breaking the rules, going to jail. Come on.
Yeah. How dare you? How dare you question the Miz? In what we'll move on, but yeah, Miz does beat Gargano. The crowd, I don't know whether we're necessarily into this. I don't know.
The crowd seemed down a little bit to me, and it's no fault of theirs. I just think, hey, listen, we're watching it. They're having to sit through it, so it's a long time, and even when it's a good match, unless it's just one of those that's getting you up all the time, and I think, and you talk about condition, I think sometimes, unfortunately, wrestling fans tend to get that way because they're like, okay, when do we need to stand up? When do we need to sit down? And they're just like, well, even though there's some action, is there really enough for us to get this hopped up about it?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't help, I think, to a degree, because we seem to start the show, like SmackDown last week, I think, like the Bloodline started the show, and they're the most popular, I don't care what anybody says, they're the most popular. Roman obviously is the head of that, but like the Bloodline as a whole with Sammy and all this storyline going on.
That's what's driving WWE. I mean, with all due respect to Brock Lesnar and everybody else, and Lashley and Seth and Bray Wyatt, as much as we love Bray, and there's no doubt now they've got some competition, does the Bloodline, but I would still give it to the Bloodline.
Yeah, absolutely. But starting the show with them, like, that's quite a big hype. Now, again, they kind of did this on Raw because the Bloodline took on the New Day and Matt Riddle after some choice words, because this Friday on SmackDown, the long reign of New Day is under threat. If the Usos can retain the tag titles, they will be the longest reigning WWE Tag Team Champions in history. The New Day currently hold that. So they want to, and then obviously the bongos and the bong and everything we talked about earlier briefly. This was a good open segment, and the 6-man tag that followed was really good. Why are we starting the show with the most popular? I know you want to hype the crowd up. I get that, and I know it's the first hour, and Raw runs as long as it does. But surely you want to build this up for the crescendo of the show. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I'm not a booker, but surely you want to see yeah, all right. You have the US title on the line at the end of the show, so I get it to a degree, but you want this to be sort of like teased as the night goes on. Surely that the bloodline's going to be there in terms of the Usos and Sokoa. Maybe I don't know.
You want to allow it. I think what you're saying is, if I heard it correctly, you want to see the progression throughout the show where we don't need to necessarily see it first thing. We could have got that promo maybe in the middle of the show or some spot where it just seemed to fit more properly.
Yeah.
Because, the promo was great. Don't get me wrong. That's probably one of the better Kofi Kingston or Xavier Woods promos in the exchange with the Usos that I've heard in a long time. I wanted to see more of that, actually, but I see what you're saying. Unfortunately, the Bloodline's over, and the New Day, don't get me wrong, they're over, and I respect their history, but it's just not connecting like it used to. That's why I think this promo was important. Important. I tried to create a new word there. That's why it's just not resonating with folks. Even though those promos were passionate by Woods and Kingston, and he was a former champion, and I hate to say it, the Bloodline are just that popular. And
you could have built all this up in the backstage is what I'm on about, and then you had it somewhere a bit
later.
Yeah,
exactly. Backstage. I mean, there's a lot of unique ways to go about it, and you're a pretty smart guy. I probably need to shut up and start listening more. I'm trying. But,
Again, these are just my opinions. I don't know whether, but it just some things feel. I mean, look. A lot of people have been dissing Triple H. We've gone from praising Triple H from being head of creative to people. Oh, Vince wouldn't have done that. Vince wouldn't have done that. All right, but he ain't here no more. And to be fair, I feel like Triple H, maybe Extreme Rules, I don't know, maybe a bit before, it's almost like a reset. We are trying, which we normally get kind of WrestleMania, end of WrestleMania, to a degree.
We do.
So
you start seeing a lot of the resets, and like you were saying there, Benny, Triple H is trying to open up things and repackage a lot of the gimmicks, a lot of the wrestlers that's gimmicks didn't necessarily need to be messed with. But I hear a lot of people giving Vince McMahon, that older regime, a lot of flack, and there's a lot of it warranted, but a lot of it not. Because let's be fair, I watched Raw last night, just like you and a lot of other people, and there was some good stuff. But if it's not for a few little wrinkles in the formula that are good, by the way, it still reminded me even of a Raw under Vince McMahon.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of, I've already said it many times on this podcast, as you well would have known. There's a lot of, we are laying foundations at the moment to build this house up and build this apartment complex up, whatever you want to call it, a mansion, whatever. But it's going to take time. It doesn't happen overnight, does it? It doesn't, we've already talked about this before. It doesn't happen overnight. Is all of it hitting with me? No. Even with the Bailey stuff we spoke about a moment ago. Elias's return, as excited I was about it hasn't quite hit home yet. And I actually watched Raw Talk this time, Tyler, and even himself was saying it hasn't quite gone well. Otis defeating Elias, I'm not saying Otis shouldn't defeat Elias. In fact, I think he should. But Elias recently returning, you think you want to build a bit of momentum up. But I think what they're doing with Elias here, he's going to start teaming with Riddle by the sounds of it. And I reckon at some point he's going to get sick of Riddle and go back to the old Elias that used to beat people up with a guitar, sing, his songs about the towns that he was in that he didn't like, and wearing the scarves. And, I want a bit more in the ring from him, which we're seeing. And he had a good match against Otis.
I did too. He did have a pretty solid match against Otis. I think, eventually we're going to get the heel Elias, and that's what everybody desires, because they're trying him as that baby face, but it's just not working for me. I want to see more of Elias, like you're mentioning, the guitar shots. When he gets interrupted, he attacks somebody. I mean, that's where we can kind of be more invested into this character. And the whole Riddle thing is intriguing. I'm not knocking Riddle.
Yeah.
I get you have to, open up different avenues or this platform of creativity and the whole process of it all. I just think, for his return to be build up so well and then it just fall kind of to the wayside in a way. I mean, that's a little harsh, maybe not to that degree.
No.
It's just I don't know. It's just been disappointing. I guess I'll just go back to that word with Elias. You know.
I think it'll get there. I think it will get there. I believe the way it's because Elias is saying himself, I'm a solo artist, and Riddle keeps trying to like play the bongos and hit the bong and all this kind of stuff with him, which is funny. But
it's hilarious. I mean, I pop every time. It's like filling Uzi. Now with Riddle, I'm
hitting
hitting the bong, man. I'm hitting the bong, dude.
Do you want to hit my bong, Jimmy? And that was a little like
gnarly,
DUI
man.
comment.
Yeah.
That was good.
Feel like a Cheech and Chong film all of a sudden.
Mate, I like that impression. That was good.
Oh, well, thank you. I'm not from California, but I have heard their accent and try to do it. And I listen to a lot of the surfing music, Beach Boys, shout out.
There you go. Anyway, again, I think we're seeing things being laid down, and we just need to be a bit more patient with it. And that's the problem. A lot of people aren't. Like we've even said, we're not overly patient, but I can kind of see I can see Elias turning on Riddle at some point. This might be about a 2-month build or something. I don't know.
It could be, and I didn't mean to be harsh by the wayside comment. No. I'm just talking about it's feeling a little underwhelming. I know we use that word often, but it's true in this case. But like you said, we have to just take steps back and wait and see what all happens.
The good thing with Elias, he's not too far into his return where they can't like change it. They haven't gone too mental with him, so they haven't put too much on him or made him say certain things or made him like box him into a corner. So there's still time for this Elias to, if he needs to slightly change his lane a bit, then he can. And I think it's a good opportunity where, we could be seeing. Hopefully, I'd like to see Elias a bit more in the ring, like I said, and a bit more aggressive, maybe. But I think I think now after this Monday, hopefully going forward, let's say 2-3 months.
I hope so too. I mean, because I really want to, show my support for Elias. It's taken me a lot of time because I got admit they took him off the air because he was Ezekiel. That had its comedic moments, but then everybody was, of course, seeing through it, and they knew this. And then he comes back, as Elias, and it's just I don't know. I don't know if it's the times we're living in, or it just feels like something odd that, even with wrestling characters, it's like even ones we think a lot about, or even ones we don't like and we start liking, it's just always bizarre how things don't always live up to expectations. And maybe that's our human nature sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, some of it I think is, and I'm not picking on like a group or like younger people, older people, whatever. I think we're all like it. We do get to a point where our patience is like, come on, move on. But things take time. I'm looking forward to seeing where Elias goes, and hopefully it will be up and not down. But I've always liked the character. The walk with Elias, I think, could have been capitalized on back when that became popular. And I've already said it with Rusev, with the Rusev Day stuff, the same thing.
There could have been a lot of things that should have been bigger or on a grander level that, for whatever reason, didn't seem to connect.
Yeah, and sometimes the sequel is not as good as the original film, so we got to wait a little bit for this to develop.
And I love the analogy, that comparison, because that is very evident a lot of the times. Yeah,
I mean, I've got a theory. I've got a theory because I've already mentioned it. Didn't I mention the Hurt Locker? The Hurt Business. Sorry, not the Hurt Locker. The Hurt Business. Possibly. Now we saw Shelton Benjamin have a match against Austin Theory earlier in the night. Actually, not a very long match, but a good match. And I think
it was a solid match.
And Shelton Benjamin still got it, as far as I can tell. I've always been a Shelton Benjamin fan.
See, it's a shame we're not seeing him more often, and I realize that's probably due to the depth of the roster.
Yeah, of course.
Even though they've got so much talent, and they have to focus on key storylines, but to not program him somewhere, knowing how much he's contributed, I've probably said this before, is a shame. So I was so happy to at least see Shelton Benjamin get an opportunity and be in a matchup on a TV program.
Yeah, and it was a good match. Unfortunately, Austin Theory defeated him. But I don't know if you've seen it. If you haven't seen it, ladies and gents, including you, Tyler, if you haven't seen Raw Talk, he gave a pretty good promo on Raw Talk about how he
I did-
felt about the way he was called a dinosaur and irrelevant earlier on in the night by Austin Theory?
I did see a little bit of it, not all of it, but from what I could view of it, yeah, Benjamin was passionate. See, that's the thing, Benny. When people can believe in you, when you're articulating the words and it don't seem to be overly scripted, I realize why they have to have scripts. You seem to buy it a little farther. You seem to really get behind this person, and it reminds you just how talented they are. And prime example with Shelton Benjamin.
He's been in the business long enough that I would assume he would probably just do bullet points. But the way he gave the promo, it felt like it was
From his heart.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then also earlier in the night we saw Cedric Alexander, who I've always been a fan of since the Cruiserweight Classic. The Cruiserweight Classic, the tournament they had for the very first when they brought back the Cruiserweight title. JBL came out beforehand because he was against Baron Corbin and cut a promo.
I love
hilarious. Brilliant. He hasn't lost a freaking step, that guy, in terms of promos.
No, not at all. I mean, he still gets people not to like the guy, and that's the point. He should have a place in the Smithsonian. The guy's just amazing. I don't care. Is there a museum? I'm sure there's a grand museum over in the UK. Put JBL over there. He's the wrestling god.
Yeah. No, I agree. Ian Samey. It's one of the more
It
entertaining
got me
moments.
worked up. I can't help it. Anybody
Yeah.
says JBL, I pop.
Fair enough. Obviously, he's out there bigging up Baron Corbin and, wrestling god, 2.0, whatever you want to call him. The disconnect for me with Baron Corbin, I like Baron Corbin. I think he's underrated. I actually do rate Baron Corbin. But the music and the demeanor do not match this wrestling god persona that JBL's trying to bestow upon him. And something needs to change. And whether we're going to end up with a JBL getting annoyed with him and end up having a JBL Baron Corbin match, I have no idea. I don't think that's going to happen. But I just the music, the clothes, he's still cocky. This wrestling god persona that, like I said, JBL's trying to bestow up. Was that right? I said it a minute ago. Fine.
No, you said it right. Yeah, I believe you're.
Yeah, but basically, the wrestling god persona for me is not matching up with Baron Corbin at all. I don't know whether that's just me. I don't know how you feel about Baron Corbin, but the music and the whole demeanor don't kind of match the stoic attitude of JBL. And I would figure that then, if he wants to mold somebody to be the next wrestling god, I'm not saying he has to be a carbon copy of JBL, just not the way he's dressed, and his music at the moment doesn't seem to fit, to me, this character.
Here's the problem I'm seeing just after, the weeks that, they've re-debuted Corbin with JBL. To me, JBL is over. He's the guy that everybody's, either wanting to react to. It's not necessarily Corbin, and that may be the whole problem with Happy Baron Corbin. And you can tell they're kind of, I hate to even say this, but it seems to me they're confused on how to present him. I mean, with his music and how to get him over. I mean, I'm not questioning his talents and that he can't have that connection with an audience, but
no,
to me, and that's why you have a JBL there to assist him to that degree. It's just, I don't know, even with JBL, I feel like I'm more interested naturally because of the years he gave to the business. He's a Hall of Famer. He knows how to speak and carry himself, and he's still a star. Is why I'm more excited to see JBL than I am Corbin. He just happens to come out there and do his job, which is fine. And I want to hear JBL on commentary. Sometimes I think he's such a big star, JBL, that it may overshadow Corbin, even if they're not meaning to. But
that's the way I feel about it.
I don't care because I like JBL on TV. So I'm kind of seeing both sides of it. I still want to see the man featured because I just told you I mark out for him. So
there you go. I mean, I agree, to be honest. Like maybe Corbin loses a few matches and JBL gives him some tough love and it changes his attitude, or it creates a feud between those two. I don't know, but yeah, something's not quite right. And I think if the whole demeanor, I'm not saying Corbin has to be the lone wolf like he used to be, but when he's in the ring, he's good and he's got the aggression, but the entrance and stuff doesn't quite match what we
It
see in the
doesn't seem
ring.
to match what JBL is trying to. Even though
yeah.
JBL can smile at you, he would, knock your head off with a clothesline. He would be aggressive in the ring, whether APA, as a tag team or singles when he feuded with Cena and everything. And you're just, and Eddie Guerrero too, but you're just not getting that same vibe. I know what you're saying about Corbin though.
Yeah, it's a shame. Well, again, it's being built, isn't it, at the moment? So maybe it'll.
Yeah, and we have to be patient.
Yeah, of course.
And that's never been my thing. I'll be the first to admit.
Fair enough. The reason I mention it is because it was not a bad match. Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin on the same night, which leads us to after Judgment Day and OC got into it. Seth Rollins just went, "Well, this has nothing to do with me," and left, which I quite liked. And then he said, "Well, we'll try and do the US title." Open challenge later, which ended up being the main event. So Seth is in the ring. He's blah blah blah. The usual. The 10 years. I cannot believe Seth Rollins done 10 years. By the way,
that was hard to fathom that he's been in WWE a full decade.
Yes. So I've watched his, and I didn't see his NXT run, but when they debuted as a Shield, I saw that, and I was like, who are these guys? And I immediately was on the internet. Oh, okay, they're in NXT, because I wasn't watching NXT then. And the Shield were impressive. They got better and better. Became one of the freaking best stables, probably they feuded with the Evolution, which was cool.
That helped establish them. I mean, when they got into their feud with Evolution, I mean, think about it. You had Orton, Batista, and Triple H teaching the young guys how it's done, and it only improved them and made their star shine brighter.
Absolutely. And then obviously Seth, buying in or selling out, however you want to look at it, then becoming Money in the Bank. Then he cashed in at WrestleMania, which nobody... I mean, I was quite... I remember watching that match and thinking, how much more have we got to sit through Brock and Roman? It was good, but it reached a sort of like, how much longer is this going to go on for? Then all of a sudden...
Yeah, it was lengthy.
Seth's music came on, place erupted, he cashed in, became WWE champion. Then he had a feud with Cena, and actually was US champion and WWE World Heavyweight champion at the same time. So Seth Rollins has pretty much done it all in WWE.
He's done so much within just 10 years. I mean, there's no doubt he's going to be a Hall of Famer.
Absolutely. I can't see why he wouldn't be.
Now, pardon me, WrestleMania 31, is that where he cashed in Money in the Bank?
Yes, it was. It was, yeah.
And that's where he first started swinging the belt. I always loved that visual of Seth doing the swinging the championship belt after he won it, I think.
I did see some footage of him in another, I think it was maybe Ring of Honor, and he did do it there. So,
okay.
But yeah, it was very cool. It's almost like releasing that, like, I've done it, I'm the freaking World Heavyweight Champion in WWE. I mean,
it's a whole nother level of excitement.
Absolutely.
And that takes a talent, because I would hit myself in the head if I tried that.
So yeah, 10 years of Seth Rollins, which is insane in itself. But so Mustafa Ali appears on the Titantron, and to be honest, the crowd were like, ugh. And I was like, okay, we still got Ali. Okay, fine. Ali barely... Go on.
Yeah, it's unfair for Ali. I feel bad for him, but it's just not. The fans are not getting invested in it, unfortunately. So that's why it seems so out of place now. Even though I think him and Seth have great chemistry, but when do you get? We use the rerun analogy where it gets too old. So I think that's why it was just a tease.
Yeah, and I think people have just a bit like Damage Control in the Bianca Belair stuff and Alexa and all that. It's been done too many times now, and it hasn't quite had the reaction from the crowd they want. I don't know. Some crowds have been louder than others. It's hard to know why.
It's hard to read a lot of the people's reactions, even on TV, and whether if you're there live at times. And it didn't seem like this really was doing it for him, though, as far as Ali. And that's sad to say, because I think Ali is an underrated talent.
Yeah, I agree. 100%. Ali starts going into the promo, and literally probably within, maybe 10 seconds, all of a sudden, I like this visual, by the way, Tyler. All of a sudden, somebody grabs hold of his arm and pulls him out of shot, and you just hear boom, boom, smack, bang, wallop, ow, and then entering the frame very like, I'm ready to fight, was Bobby Lashley, and was like, I'm coming for my title, you took it from me. Then Ali tried to come back at Lashley, and then Lashley managed to get the better of him, pick him up and throw him into that freaking like this backstage.
What a sight! I mean,
what a visual that is. If anything else, you haven't seen anything else this week, you need to see that 100%.
Just go back and watch that short clip of Lashley billing. I guess is another way, like
Yes,
throwing Ali over what was it, like a production box or something?
Yeah, well, I assume it's like the boxes that you put the wires and the cameras and the equipment in. So he just lobbed him over those, and it was just like, because the camera stayed stationary and in a fixed position, and so it wasn't following him. Him being pulled out of frame and then being thrown. It's a great visual. Lashley is a lot more vicious than he has been, and that's quite weird to say because he's always been aggressive.
But they turned the volume up on him.
Absolutely. When I initially watched this pan out, in terms of the first part, so Lashley comes out, he says he's going to challenge for the US title. He starts beating down, really aggressive, like almost like heelish, to be honest, in terms of how he attacks Seth.
It does remind you of kind of the villain more so than the babyface. I think we're starting to see more, or at least that's the direction it would seem or appear that Lashley is turning bad. It
seems like it, doesn't it? But he beats down Seth, and it goes on for a couple of minutes, and Seth gets and he gets put through the table. The match the bell never rang. The referees and Adam Pearce and all that come out and separate. Get rid of Lashley, and Lashley kind of willingly goes, "Yeah, I'll go." But then Austin Theory comes out, no fanfare, no music, no entrance, no nothing, and Adam Pearce kind of glances at him and frowns and like, "What are you doing?" And then it goes to commercial break with Austin Theory stood over Seth Rollins. Then he cashes in Money in the Bank for the US title. They have a bit of a match back and forth. I honestly thought Theory was going to win the US title here, to be honest with you.
I did too, because how could Seth overcome those kind of odds after Lashley attacked him? And then, Theory cashing in the Money in the Bank opportunity for that United States title and doing all the signature moves. I believe he hit a pedigree even on Seth.
He did, yeah, because Seth went for one, and then it got reversed, and then Austin Theory actually hit the pedigree on Seth. So yeah, and as I said at the top of the show, the Money in the Bank, it was read like the announcer said, for a championship match, anytime, any place. Didn't say it had to be for the World Heavyweight title. Now, back when it first started, the very first Money in the Bank briefcase at WrestleMania 21, I think.
You would be correct, because you've got a knowledge. There was a time, but I was still watching it then. But I was like any fan, I kind of got out of it for a period of years. So I'm trying to remember, but I would trust your judgment.
I'm pretty sure it's WrestleMania 21, but they actually said for a World Championship match when it first started. But like I said, going back to this year, I actually went on the network earlier and just quickly went to it just to see, because I heard this person ranting about the fact that it wasn't for a world title. It says for a championship match, anytime, any place for up to 1 year. So there's nothing to say that he couldn't have gone to NXT and cashed in for the NXT title, the North American title. Basically, any bout he wants to go for, whoever.
That's for any of them.
Now, what I would like to see, if we're going to go down that route, that's fine. I'm happy with this. A lot of people aren't. I'm all right with this, to agree. Yes, things could have been done better in this environment, in this sort of main event. Austin Theory could have said, like I said earlier, maybe he could have said, I can't get to Roman or whatever. Maybe I need to go for another title or something. That's all he had to say. But when Lashley came back out, and actually, because the referee got knocked down, Seth down in the ring, and Lashley came out and attacked Austin Theory and actually put the Hurt Lock on him and basically made him pass out, or almost pass out. And then he kind of acknowledged the crowd. So when he first attacked Seth, it felt like we had a change of like Seth becoming... He's just announced that he's been in the company 10 years. Thank you, Seth, the singing. Then Bobby Lashley attacks him and basically said, I got the impression in that first attack that Lashley was switching to heel and Seth was coming more face. But when he attacked Theory...
I did too. Because the fans are even singing with his theme, and they have been for a while. So the way they're positioning Seth, it's almost as if he is starting to turn more of the babyface character, and Lashley more of the the heel type.
Yeah. But yeah, once he attacked Theory, I'm not really sure. All I'll say about Lashley is he's definitely more aggressive than he has been. How that translates to good guy, bad guy, I don't know, because he still reacted as if he was like, when Lesnar was a heel, he wouldn't even acknowledge the crowd. He might sort of like say shut up to somebody, but that's about it. You antagonize the crowd. Bobby Lashley attacked Theory and kind of put his arms up, and they had a positive reaction. So all I'll say is with Bobby Lashley, he's very aggressive, and Seth Rollins, I would say, is probably more face than heel anyway at this point.
If not, he's been blurring the lines a little bit, because it's kind of like a lot of people were talking about Jericho with Judas. The crowd would sing the song, even though he's presented as the villainous faction or the leader, of that faction. Everybody seems to be cheering him. It's kind of like the Bloodline too, though.
Yeah. I mean, it makes the characters, the Bloodline, Bobby Lashley, Seth, it's Steve Austin back in the day before he became a full on. He's like the anti-hero, but like it gives more depth.
That's a great example.
It gives more depth to the characters of they're not just like I'm pure good or I'm pure evil. There's a line in there, blurred lines, as Pharrell Williams might say in his song. But it's just it's hard
blurred
to know.
lines. That's what it's about. But put it on a t-shirt.
Yeah, hell yeah. But basically, it's what I took from this was Seth is kind of face, Bobby Lashley. So Austin Theory, is Austin Theory's character. If you listen to what he's been saying to people over the last several months, if not longer, when Vince was still there, he's making out that he's better than everybody. And Kevin Owens was like, "Look, you are good." But you've got basically saying you've got an ego, you need to curb it. And this ego has got the best of him now, and now he's lost the money in the bank. A lot of people are like annoyed by it. I'm not. There's an opportunity here for Austin Theory to come out the other end. And, you might look back on this moment 18 months from now, and he's in a position for maybe a world title, or he's a intercontinental champion, or whatever it may be. He's got freaking ability, that kid. And yes, he's a heel, and I like to hate him. He is a little shit, basically.
He's got immense talent, and like you're saying there, Benny, this does not hurt him. I think so. I'm trying to look at it positive. I know that's hard for people to, imagine being a wrestling fan, because we do tend to be negative at times. But if you look at the way they're having Theory, he did get his win back before he lost. Now, I know people are going to go, well, what's the big deal? But here's the thing, knowing Triple H and Stephanie and even Vince back then, he saw the talent. And then there's been a few of the NXT examples like Austin Theory. I think Theory is going to be a future champion, whether it's he's been the United States champion, let me correct myself, or whether it's an Intercontinental champion or world champion. He's still going to have momentum. Have you ever thought maybe they may repackage him in a way?
Possibly, yeah. I just don't think in the long run, right now it's probably too fresh for some people, but right in the long run, I don't see it being a problem in 3 months' time, 4 months' time, whatever. My last point on this quickly is Bobby Lashley. People have been talking who is going to be... Now, we're all thinking that Cody Rhodes is going to return and... win the Rumble and challenge Roman. It's a great story. He wants to do it for his dad. It's a brilliant narrative that they can tell here with Cody and Roman.
Yeah, it's a great one.
If that happens, I'm not going to lie to you. When he made that promo about his dad and wanting to bestow that on the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, it put a fire in my belly, and I was like, I want to see this happen, and I still do. But you want someone to, who could possibly beat Roman or even be a legitimate challenger for Roman. Bobby Lashley, after he's done with Lesnar, could quite easily be against Roman. All right, you've got the numbers game, but this is where I'm thinking I was trying to get to earlier was we've seen Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander on Raw, along with Bobby Lashley dominating two superstars and being really aggressive.
Oh, we have.
Why not?
I mean, looking very good.
Yeah, why not bring in the Hurt Business again to counteract the Bloodline? Could quite easily be a thing.
I always felt it was a shame that they broke up the Hurt Business, which I understand, though, because, eventually Lashley had to have a separate run. You probably didn't need them all together, but But now you see the bloodline and all these factions. You don't want to get too many, but man, the Hurt Business was so cool.
It made no sense to me why Lashley turned on Cedric in shouting at all to me at the time, and I still don't understand it. All right, he had a good run after, but I feel like it could have been a lot more with,
And with MVP talking for him, I mean,
Exactly.
it was just brilliant. It was kind of like Heyman does for the Bloodline. Even though all the guys can talk and could cut promos, you still needed that mouthpiece, and MVP was perfect in that role as well, and still is.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I agree 100%. But yeah, that's pretty much Raw. Again, not a bad show. There's some good points in there. There's some negative points in there. I'm not going to lie. Every week I look forward to SmackDown more than I do Raw. And I've said that many times.
SmackDown seems to be more of the show that everyone really adores because, and now they've got Bray Wyatt. So not only do you have the Bloodline, you've got Bray, you've got Gunther, you've got the Imperium, and you've got Rey Mysterio's back on there. You've got McIntyre, you've got Karrion Kross. It does feel, even though there's a similar formula, it feels different from Raw. And it's not as long, so people can kind of get into SmackDown a little bit more than they can, even when Raw's got its good moments.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. Good. I'm glad you mentioned Bray Wyatt because I've just checked the Twitter poll, Ty, and he is still winning. So our superstar focus this week is
It's a landslide.
You've won it. I'll tell you the percentages now. Actually, let me go back to it because I actually left it before I actually looked at it. So yeah, you get to choose. So we're gonna at the end of the show we'll put forward 2 female superstars, and you vote on it on the old Twitter page at In the Corner WWE who you want us to focus on and talk about. But you mentioned Bray Wyatt there with 53.8% of the vote, with 39 votes altogether. Which for our first poll, thank you everybody for voting and doing
We
that. I
appreciate
that.
that support. Yeah.
But yeah, Bray Wyatt. Now I wanted Randy Orton. I thought it'd be nice to talk about Randy Orton because he's not been in the company for a while, but. Why not talk about Bray Wyatt? He recently returned. We talked about it, obviously, Extreme Rules, but I mean, we'll start with that, I guess. I mean, what a moment that was to see him back in WWE. And what are you thinking about what he's done so far in terms of WWE, basically, and being back and the stuff he's done?
Bray Wyatt just never ceases to amaze me. Seriously, the guy is just multifaceted in his abilities, his capabilities to correlate with that. What Bray Wyatt has been able to achieve, him being released actually was a blessing in disguise. Because here we have a guy that not only reinvents himself, I know we overuse that word and term so much, but it's true. Especially when you've got a guy the caliber of a Bray Wyatt. Not only is this promo good, I think he can still wrestle pretty well, too. We just don't need to see it all the time. I think it's more the talking, getting the story. He's definitely more story-focused and oriented, which is a great thing.
Yeah.
I think that's an element that misses, especially not in just today's product, even prior to some of the classic generations. Bray Wyatt is once in a lifetime a generational talent, going back to the word generation. I'm just so captivated by any time he's on a microphone with the Uncle Howdy character. Are we going to see The Fiend? They're teasing with Alexa Bliss on Raw and then Crown Jewel. I know we'll talk about that a little more. But I'm so glad he won the Superstar Focus, and I would have loved to talk about Randy Orton, too. I think that would have been a masterclass, me and you able to talk about. And the same with Bray Wyatt, because he's achieved so much. And coming back, that's what a lot of people are wondering about, BenNny. What's in store? What's next for Wyatt as we're seeing all these segments on SmackDown and what happened? And we'll talk about what happened and transpired at Crown Jewel.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he came in. I saw a little bit of what they were doing in NXT, and I love what I saw: the Bayou, the Hawaiian shirts, and Luke Harper and Eric Rowan and stuff. And I always thought Eric Rowan even Luke Harper to a degree, always got a bit of a unfair shake. I don't know why. I actually thought that the Wyatt family was really good. Yeah, okay, you've got to change things up occasionally. But I mean, you mentioned Randy Orton quickly there, but obviously they were tag team champions together, SmackDown tag team champions, when the whole Wyatt family, when Randy joined them.
And I thought that was a great move, and it's easy for me to say after the fact, but the chemistry both of them had, and for Randy to join the Wyatt family, even long enough for him to win tag titles, was pretty smart. Was pretty cool, actually.
It's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, even looking back at it, I loved it, but you could see Randy turn in at some point, and you just knew it was going to happen.
Oh yeah, he's a Viper for a reason.
Exactly.
Even against Bray Wyatt, he's gonna, he doesn't have any friends after a while.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to revert back to around WrestleMania 30, so that's 2014, I think. Obviously, WrestleMania 30, the dreaded night where Taker lost his streak, blah, blah, blah. That's a different topic. We could probably talk about an hour about that as itself, but at the height of Bray Wyatt, he took on Cena at WrestleMania 30. I've said it on another podcast. I think it was on Chain Wrestling, actually. I feel, and it wouldn't have hurt Cena. I think I may have mentioned this to you, Ty, as well, but I would have liked to have Bray Wyatt to have beaten Cena that night at WrestleMania 30. Because it would have shot him straight up with the Wyatt family and everything that was going on at the time.
And especially a win over a star like Cena.
It wouldn't have hurt Cena in the long run, let's face it. Rock came back and beat Cena, and we had Cena as a year of almost like losing high-profile matches, and he came out the other end, WWE champion, beating The Rock the next year. So it wouldn't have hurt Cena. It would have been nice, actually, if anything, to keep that feud going a bit longer. The Fireflies, the music, the back in 2014, and it's the same now, actually, ironically, in 2022, that back then, the two people that, when they spoke, I could not take my eyes off, and one was Paul Heyman, and you just listen to that guy, and when Bray Wyatt was cutting a promo about whatever he was talking about that night, you just couldn't help but be captivated by him. I don't know how to...
It's hard to describe.
It's hard to describe, yeah.
Yeah, because he has a way with words, and he reels you in. It's like he can throw a rope, and like a cowboy, he lassos you. It's
a good way.
With his verbal skills. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you want a good Western analogy, I don't know how that fits, but it seemed to come to mind. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, he makes us think of even different ways to try to depict what he's trying, the message that's coming across, but yet he makes sense of it.
He's so cryptic, though, isn't he? Even on social media and all
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's all hidden. But that's what makes his story and probably the stories inside the grander story so I'm going to say compelling again. Don't mean to sound redundant, but that's one that comes to mind. I mean, it's just it's hard to put into words. It's a testament to how talented Bray Wyatt is. He's a storyteller.
Yeah, he is. I think he represents the sports entertainment aspect. He can wrestle. He can have good matches with pretty much anybody. But the persona that he brings across is definitely sports entertainment, and you can't help but just watch that guy. And he's also one of those characters I felt back then, even now to a degree. It's a bit like The Undertaker. Now, The Undertaker's not as many multi-world time champion as you might think because he's so dominant over his career. But Bray Wyatt's also like that in a sense of not maybe dominant, but is somebody that you look at and you go, Bray Wyatt, when he came in, is somebody to me who doesn't need championships to make him. But when he wants to take the championship from you, look out. And it's the same with The Undertaker for me.
No, I can see the similarities. Bray Wyatt, sports entertainment, yeah, that fits him. Even though we are talking wrestling, that's always been what sets WWE apart from other companies. Even though they are respecting a lot more of the wrestling terms, Vince, he wanted to kind of make it more about entertainment because everybody looked down on wrestling, and Triple H is trying to bring a lot of those traditional terms back, even slowly. But yeah, there's still a lot of those personalities that still fit that moniker, and Bray Wyatt, you just said it, he's perfect. I mean, he's a perfect match for it, and we're seeing why the guys could definitely do some wonders in Hollywood. I mean, he could have his own series, or whether horror or whatever he wants to do. A lot of psychology goes into that. So Bray Wyatt's learned. A lot of people don't realize he's second generation. Third, his grandfather was Blackjack Mulligan. His uncle's Barry Windham, his dad's IRS, Mike Rotunda. His brother's Bo Dallas. He's got wrestling though in his blood. So this guy, I mean, he knows it. So just because he's coming at it more from a different point of view doesn't mean he doesn't have that respect and it's not been taught and learned the knowledge under a learning tree of that family.
Yeah, definitely. No, 100%. One of my favourite moments, which they never really capitalised on, which seems to be the way of Bray Wyatt's career the first time round, and I hope it's not this time round, because they seem to build him, and then cut his legs from underneath him, which is why I would like to have seen him win at WrestleMania 30. Not that he didn't have a good match against Cena, it just would have made, for me, you've built this character and yet he loses high-profile matches, and it's just a shame, really. But for me, and it never really made any sense, but the visual was cool. The Hell in a Cell match he had with it was Dean Ambrose versus he didn't have a match. It was Dean Ambrose versus Seth. It wasn't long after the buy-in by Seth, and he was feuding with Dean Ambrose, and then that hologram, which I assume was Sister Abigail, and the smoke in the ring, and then Bray Wyatt come out and attack Dean Ambrose, was a really cool visual. But they never seem to do anything with it after the fact. And then
it's like, hey, let's just try it once and
see what happens.
Okay, we're done. Yeah.
The other one is when he became WWE champion at Elimination Chamber. And again,
that was another just memorable highlight.
And again, I think he should have retained the title at WrestleMania, considering they did the mind games and the maggots on the apron being projected and stuff like that, trying to play the mind games with Randy Orton. It made no sense for me that Randy Orton won. Not that I don't like Randy Orton. I put him in the poll, for God's sake. So it just made no sense to me. But yeah, there's some cool moments throughout his career. And the Fiend.
Yeah, there's so many. The Fiend, and don't mean to cut you off there. It's just hard to choose. So that's why even when a wrestler wins a poll, whether doing research or coming at it more organically, just having the discussion, it's very what's the word I'm looking for? It's just you have to. It really exercises the brain because they've had so many great magical moments. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, we won at the end of the show. We'll put our other two forward and see who wins next week to our Superstar Focus. You said you wanted to focus. You won the poll. You get to sort of choose where we go, which you already have. So we're going to choose some. Unless you want to choose them now, it's up to you. Do you want to choose them now, or are you not quite ready yet?
I'm not sure I'm quite ready, and I should have been a little bit more prepared, but I got to admit, I've had to go back and...
I did throw it at you and not actually pre-plan it with you, so I don't blame you. So
no, it's fine. That's why we're a tag team, man. We're brainstorming together. So yeah, I'm gonna have to do a bit more. We're
calling an audible on a audio podcast, so that's what we're doing there.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we're changing the rules because we can. You got to acknowledge us, so deal with it.
Just when you think you've got all the answers, we change the questions.
Yeah, Hot Rod, Rowdy Piper. There you go. That was a terrible impersonation.
It was, yes. I want to put you over, mate, but that was terrible. So we'll move on.
It was.
Right, man. Right, we're getting to the crux at the end of the show here, almost, but we got to go through Crown Jewel. I think we already made our feelings clear, but we're never really, although they are getting better, I'm never really a big fan of Crown Jewel, to be honest. But the card looked good. The potential
they did
there.
have some good matches.
Yeah. So I mean, we'll start off as we mean to go on. I've got them in a different order over here, so I'm just going to have to move that list down. There it is there. Let me just highlight it so I don't get lost. So Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley. It went the way I thought it would in a sense of how the match would play out. But actually, this more aggressive Bobby Lashley, which we've already talked about on Raw this week, and he threw Lesnar into the steps and Lesnar's knee hit it, and he was limping pretty much throughout the match. And Lashley was just dominant, really, in this match.
Yeah, Lashley looked strong, and he needed to be, because we all know Lesnar can always look like that beast. But it showed a vulnerability with Lesnar hurting his leg and a weakness where Lashley could capitalize. So this went very, I guess, a little different than what I was trying to imagine. But I liked it, though. I'm glad Lashley kind of got the upper hand, even though I think I predicted Brock Lesnar in my predictions.
I mean, yeah, you predicted Brock would win, which obviously happened. I have a gripe with this match. You may have seen it on Twitter. I Now, obviously, he put the Hurt Lock on, and we had the where Lesnar pushed himself off the top rope, almost like was it Brett versus Austin with the Cobra Clutch?
It was.
The $1 Million
a
Dream,
similar
sorry.
finish. Yeah.
The $1 Million Dream, I think it was actually, not the Cobra Clutch. That's a different move altogether. But if you watch the replay, I mean, obviously you got it right because the official thing is that Brock won, so you get a point there, Tyler. So you're actually 2-1 up at the moment. But,
well, I didn't mean to brag. I had to.
Nah, you got to do it. We the ones, man. You do it. Got to do it. Got to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I got to do it.
You got to do it, man. You got it right. But I'm questioning whether it should have been that way because if you look back, for me, Lashley's shoulder was up, but it is what it is. You got it right. Overall, like I said, the match went where I thought it was. It was fast. It was aggressive, but even though Lesnar won, he left Brock laying after he put the Hurt Lock on him. So I don't think this is over. Is it? So, well, how we've got it now? So Lashley's beaten him once.
It's not finished.
Yeah, and Lashley's beaten him once. Now Brock's beaten him. I say questionably, asterisks above it, but we'll see how it pans out. Really.
Yeah, they were trying to correct something because both the guys' finishers they were trying something new. But it doesn't mean it always makes sense. It's just the way that I think they were trying to present the way, how could we end it with these two, beasts of wrestlers, these two, big guys. And that was the whole gist of it. And I understand the gripe and I get a lot of that because I was watching that going, okay, that was a very unique and didn't expect it. But I just kind of analyze it, to the basics, trying to find where they were going with it, I guess. Just trying to see how they would book a match. I don't know, but to your point, it was definitely unique. I'll say that.
It reminded me a little bit of Brock versus Goldberg a few years ago when that came to a head at WrestleMania. It was just fast, hard hitting, and just over before you knew it. And actually, to be honest, even though it probably isn't the most I don't know whether it's going to be memorable, but it was exciting while it was happening. And it got me buzzing. It got me buzzing for the rest of the show, really, to a degree.
And it made up for that bad match that they both had when they were leaving, Goldberg and Lesnar. So that made up for it, that match.
Yeah, definitely. And I think they corrected that with Goldberg and Brock. But yeah, in terms of
they did.
Yeah, in terms of Lashley though, even though he lost in the way he's been since on Raw, as we already discussed earlier, it's going to be interesting to see where he goes, and I wouldn't want to mess with Bobby Lashley at the moment because even though he's very dominant anyway, being in this mood that he's in, it's almost like a throwback to World's Strongest Man when he became that, and he was very angry all the time, and you just didn't want to get in his way. So
you didn't want to make him angry. He would hulk up.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, basically, or mark up. I don't know.
That's correct too. That'd be a good term. But it's kind of like they're reversing roles, like where Lesnar was more aggressive. Maybe they're trying to give that edge more to Lashley a little bit. I don't know.
Well, whatever they're doing going forward, as long as they keep doing it the way they're doing it, I'm up for it, and I'm interested to see where it goes. To be honest with you,
I'm on board. I have to agree again.
But you are 2-1 up at the moment, Tyler. You are winning because obviously we put we had a point each because we both said there would be a tag team match for the women. So we've already talked about that briefly, so we won't mention it again.
And we got to be fair because we didn't know some of the matches would be added. I mean,
it was added
after.
Yeah. It was actually added on social media, wasn't it? Not long after the show came out, I believe. So
I've realized they do a lot of that on social media because I guess there's such a following and before even their website. Maybe they have it on their website before. That's always been something, that's new to me, whether they do it on their website officially or social media. But it's true. Yeah, they'll announce a lot of big headlines on their Twitter.
There was I didn't get into it actually, but there was a contradiction on Raw because you have a lot of these wrestlers making matches amongst themselves. Now, I'm not saying we necessarily have to have a GM, but I feel like we need an authority figure to come out and go. I mean, we knew where the 6-man tag team match was going with New Day, Riddle, and the Bloodline in terms of the Usos in Sokoa. And then you have 2 matches made by wrestlers, and the other one being Shelton Benjamin and Austin Theory. Nothing wrong with the matches, by the way. But on commentary, they go, we can't have superstars making matches. Have you not been watching the show, guys? They've literally had people doing that all night.
Yeah, you do need an authority figure. I mean, even use Adam Pearce again. to come out. At
Yeah,
least
just
say.
go, right, guys, I've had enough of you chatting. Just get on with it. You're going to have a 6-man tag team match and off you go. I don't know. I don't know. I just feel like...
I've never been a big fan of wrestlers kind of making their own matches.
Even with the
to me...
Go on, sorry.
Yeah. No, I was just going to add or insert here. You want to keep a little bit more of the sports presentation. We all know it's got entertainment value to it, but come on, there's still an athletic competition.
Yeah.
You got to have somebody overseeing it to, for the rules.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And what I was going to say was the Shelton Benjamin Austin Theory match was it was filmed earlier in the day with them talking to each other backstage. It would have been quite, Austin Theory said, well, why don't we have a match then? And Shelton says, yeah, all right then. And then maybe Austin Theory goes, I'm going to go and talk to Adam Pearce right now. That's all he has to say. Doesn't have to be a whole thing of me talking to, in a like Regal back in the day with the commissioner's room, which
Regal's
I love, by
the way. Great example. We all have nothing but love for Mr. William Regal. And I mean, just what you're bringing up, you need somebody of authority that has been assigned by the company to come out and say, hey, listen, either stop it or fix the problem, or say, you guys really want to throw down our ladies, let's make it official.
Yeah, you don't have to necessarily do it. They come out every time and say it, but you can do little things like, I'll go and talk to whoever's GM or whoever's, I'm going to go speak to Triple H right now, and we're going to make this match.
Like in their office or something.
Yeah, it doesn't even have to show. You can show it occasionally if you want, but you can just make little comments like, I'm going to go and talk to Adam Pearce now, and I'll see you later in the ring. So it's almost so there's a hierarchy there, so you can go, right, he's gone and spoke to, or she's gone to speak to Adam Pearce. Oh, now we've got the match and it's official. That's all you got.
To me, their structure.
Yes, just a little bit. It doesn't have to be full on, but just a little bit. And I meant to bring it up earlier, but I forgot, and it's just because we were talking the way we were talking. But it's something that is niggled at me a little bit, and I just wish you would just go, I'm going to go speak to so-and-so, or somebody comes out and says, right, later tonight, you are going to defend the US title against whoever, and move on with the show. Basically, almost like to give the control to make it, like you said, the sports element.
You got to have somebody. Yeah, you've got to have somebody that'll come out there and go. And it doesn't have to be every segment. Of course, backstage, you were stating there, and or showing them in the office, or maybe during an interview. Hey, listen, the GM comes in there and interrupts and goes, hey, listen, you guys have some problems or issues?
Yeah.
Why don't you settle it in the ring, and we can sign it and make it official right now?
Yeah. Or, like you said, you have somebody coming out the GM's office or Triple H's office or the office, whatever you want to call it. Not Dunder Mifflin, obviously, but you just want to.
Well, are you sure? I mean, we could have the Office TV series.
That'd be cool. Steve Carell is the new GM of Raw. That'd be
it would be Steve Carell. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll tell you, Steve Carell's your new general manager.
But maybe not as Steve Carell, maybe as the office manager. That would be hilarious.
See, you never know what you're going to get on In the Corner. You get some pop culture. You get a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Hey, that's why we're the long-reigning tag team champions.
Well, we'll hope so. We got Cy in our corner, so we should be all right.
Cy's in our corner.
In the corner.
In the corner, not just... It's in the corner. Let me get it correct.
Anyway, moving on to Drew McIntyre versus Karrion Kross steel cage match. Now, we both said, despite the fact that I went the other way with my pick here, we both said that Drew McIntyre needed the win. Good match, actually, to be honest. And I think it's definitely, put Karrion Kross, in terms of this feud, is now hopefully over, and Drew can move on.
They need to move on.
They do, yeah, and they haven't overdone this. It's just been enough every week to keep me interested in this, to be honest. But McIntyre, it was really good the way they did this, actually, like the cage door open, and then Scarlett, closed the door on Drew, so he ended up climbing the cage, but then she had to unlock it quickly to try and let Karrion out, and then it ended up being that Drew got out the cage first, basically. It was really good, well done, to be honest.
Yeah, I think this was one of the better matches. I like the cage match. I'm happy Drew did get the victory over Karen Cross. And Scarlett amazes me because I was thinking, oh, she's not going to interfere. Well, she proved me wrong because she was climbing up the cage and
we have different
helping
views.
out her man.
We have different views then, because I was like, how is she going to interfere? I know she's going to interfere, but how is she going to do it? Lady Scarlett getting in there. But it was a good match. I enjoyed this. And it was nice, actually, because, again, Crown Jewel, you could, like, back when it first started, you could almost say they're, like, kind of throwaway matches to a degree. None of these felt throwaway. I'll give them that at least. They felt all the matches felt important, and were progressing stories to move on for this week and so on and so forth. So,
they didn't feel like they were just thrown together. Like you said, an important fact there that they were a part and correlating with the storylines.
Yeah, I mean, the only one that felt thrown together which we both already had reservations of, was Omos and Strowman, to be honest. But this McIntyre versus Cross was good. McIntyre defeats Cross. He escaped the cage. Like I said, despite the fact that I said Drew needs the win, I actually went with Cross, whereas Tyler was a lot more clever than me and went for McIntyre. So that actually brings you up to 3-1, Tyler. You're actually trouncing me at the moment.
I can't help it. When you got it, you got it.
Yeah, you go. There you go. We'll move on. We'll move on anyway before I hurt too much, because I'm getting beat down here. I need to make a comeback at some point. The OC took on Judgment Day. So the OC consisted of AJ Styles, Carl Anderson, and Luke Gallows. Judgment Day, Finn Balor, Damian Priest, and Dominic Mysterio, with the Rhea Ripley problem on the outside of the ring. Again, I'm liking the Judgment Day angle, the whole thing. There's obviously going to be at some point, I feel like Ray versus Dom is going to happen, or some shape or form will happen.
It's got to.
Yeah, we'll come back to that at some point. That's almost like a to be continued, the way it's gone. I mean, what are you thinking about this match? Obviously, I know you said you rewatched and jog your memory. And what did you think about the OC versus the Judgment Day?
The more and more I'm seeing of the OC take on the Judgment Day, I'm becoming a bigger fan all the time. Both these groups did an incredible job. I thought it was a very well laid out match. We all know Rhea Ripley is going to be a factor, a problem for the opposing team. Just to see Finn Balor and AJ Styles actually wrestle kind of gave you a tease to a singles match in a sense, pardon me, during it. Was always a thrill just to see that encounter on the top turnbuckle, or even just all over the ring. And I like, Gallows and Anderson, how they work with Damian Priest and Dominic Mysterio. He just keeps improving and improving. Yeah. And I'm with you. I can't wait till we see Ray and Dom have that big match. But I'm glad he's away from his father, because he's getting to learn from other people. And this Judgment Day has won me over for Dom, because I get it. He had to be that grand baby face, but now he gets a chance to be that punk heel and
flex the creative muscles a bit more, and
Yes, yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I'm with Booker T. It's not quite dig it, but I'm digging it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the Anderson and Mysterio, but basically, I would say this match was centered around Styles and Balor to a degree, but there were frequent tags. Everybody got their, and nobody really seemed to take control of the match in a sense of one team. Judgment Day, I think, got a little bit of the upper hand near the end, but you chuck in Rhea Ripley in there as well. And she just made her presence known again, basically, and Judgment Day defeated the OC with a pinfall.
Yeah, it was her interference that was there for the assist, and Rhea Ripley, it's just so durable. I mean, she has proven this is probably one of her top roles, even though I really missed her NXT runs, and whether UK or just the regular black and gold brand, and her main roster stuff early on, that she was getting those type of opportunities. For her to be in a top group like this, it's just elevated all these stars, even though they didn't need elevating. I mean, they're just getting to this next tier, if you will.
Yeah, definitely. I said on the Saturday edition of In the Corner, because obviously there was a pay-per-view this week, that I thought Rhea Ripley is kind of, everybody's going to get elevated in this group, as you've just said, but Rhea Ripley for me at the moment is kind of the MVP of this group. And something I didn't mention, or we didn't mention, sorry, is there was a backstage interview on Raw this week with the Judgment Day talking, and as that interview ended, they're walking along, and Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley kind of cross paths, look at each other. Rhea Ripley, and then Bianca carries on walking by, and then Rhea Ripley kind of looks at her. So it's left that little nugget of like, oh, yeah, there's the Raw Women's Champion, maybe, So it's leaving that at some point, maybe Belair and Rhea Ripley will be getting it on for that Raw Women's Championship, however that may pan out, if she is still the champion, obviously.
I would look forward and welcome that, because I think there's still a lot of unfinished not only history but business between the AST and Rhea Ripley.
Absolutely, yeah. We're burning through these matches pretty quickly. This one's not going to take long. We actually spoke more about this more than I thought. If you listened to last week's Wednesday show with me and Tyler, we went the Crown Jewel predictions. You already know my feelings on this. I don't really want to keep repeating myself. But Braun Strowman versus Omos, it lived up to what I thought it was going to be, and not in a good way. It is what it is, and it's a shame because Braun Strowman is really good. I thought the reason I went for Omos to win, because I thought if anybody needed it, we all know what Strowman can do. He's been a former Universal Champion. If you want to build Omos as a monster, this would have been an opportunity. If you have to do this match at Crown Jewel, which they did, despite my reservations, it would have made more sense for me for Omos to win, but Braun Strowman won. It was an okay match. That's all I got to say about it, Ty, really, to be honest. I don't know how about yourself.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much you could say. It was just two big guys trying to give their best effort, and Braun Strowman trying to work around some of the challenges that Omos would have, being the younger guy. But as much grief as I give Omos, and this is off topic, I did see a video where I was really happy for him to get to see his family in Nigeria. It really brings things into perspective, even if you don't care for their characters on screen and whatever your perception of the wrestler is. It sure made my heart feel good for the big man to get time to visit his family. I don't think he had seen them in so many years. I can't remember the number. They said it. It just brings it back home. But to go back to the match, Omos is trying. I mean, I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. But, Braun Strowman did what he could. And I guess they had the best match they could have. And it didn't mean it was the best by any means. But to your point. But that was just a little sidebar. I noticed that sometimes it brings a new light on somebody. You forget, hey, they're real people. They've got real lives and families.
Yeah, of course.
And that was a real sweet moment. I got to admit, it was a sentimental emotion for me, and I felt for him, and I thought it was good. But for the match, Braun, tried to work with what he had, and Omos hopefully can get better. Maybe he needs more of an NXT or definitely more polishing up. We've mentioned this and sound repetitive, but there's not much to add. But I'm with you. They tried. I mean, it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't the greatest either.
It's just I can see this match being really good down the line potentially. It just it didn't quite. It's just done it at the wrong time for me. They're building these two guys up. Yeah, Braun doesn't need it as much as Omos because of what I've already said in sense of Braun being a former heavyweight champion and stuff like that. But if you're trying to build this guy to be a monster on Raw, then it was a good opportunity for him to, get a win over Braun Strowman, a former world champion. It would have been quite a good thing to do. But, Braun hitting that running power slam on him was impressive. I don't want to diss the wrestling. It was a good match, like you said. But the story for me just didn't quite hit the mark for myself. That's all, really.
It wasn't there.
Yeah, I think that's it. Just too soon. Like I said, I kind of fantasy booked it and said, well, why don't you have these two guys destroy their respective rosters for a while? By the time we get to Rumble, we have Omos enter the Rumble. Maybe he enters at number 3, takes out the first 2. dominates. Then number 10 or 11 comes in, and it's Braun Strowman. You think, oh god, here we go, and that could have been a really cool moment, you know.
It would have helped their feud. I think what WWE had to do too, and we've talked about this, is that the Saudi government or whoever the prince may have wanted. You know, from what I understand, not that he's got creative control, but I think he may have suggestions on who he would like featured. So I don't know if if there's any truth to that. I just wonder if that's why we didn't see two big guys, featured or some, some of these matches. Because to me, it's probably like their WrestleMania.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. But yeah, I've heard the same thing, Tyler, about the whole the Prince booking or asking for...
Which I don't know is true. That's always a narrative. But, I could see him maybe, meeting with them and liking certain stars.
And requesting certain matches, which is why I think Goldberg probably beat Fiend back a few years ago. But there we go.
Well, that's revisionist history. And hey, I was a big Goldberg fan, but I think at the time, man, to beat the Fiend as the champion just had a lot of people shaking their heads. But that's the crazy thing about wrestling, man. Who knows?
Yeah, they like to keep you guessing whether it's good or bad, I suppose.
Yeah, they do.
yeah. Undisputed Tag Team Championships were defended. The Usos, Jimmy and Jay, obviously, taking on the Brawling Brutes, Pete Dunne, Butch, and Ridge Holland. It was a good match, actually, to be honest. We both went for the Usos, by the way, so I finally get a point, but you are pulling ahead, and you're currently winning 5-2 on this pay-per-view. And I think I've been absolutely whitewashed, and you've won 2 pay-per-views in a row, Ty.
Well,
so,
I can't help it. I don't know if it's because it's the newness, and maybe once I get 2, out of the way, then I'll start struggling.
I'm going to lead you into a false sense of security. You're going to be like...
It's reverse psychology. It's Uncle Howdy. Actually, Benny's Uncle Howdy, and I'm trying to do Bray, and I'm battling with my mind or something, or vice versa.
Either way, you are absolutely trouncing me. I think I did a little bit better at Extreme Rules, but you're absolutely trouncing me at the moment. So if this was a best of 7, you would have beat me 5-2. So there it is. Brawling Brutes looked really good in this match, to be honest. They actually took a good portion of the match where they were, hitting their moves, the fingers, the Butch stuff, or Pete Dunne stuff, whatever.
It makes me cringe. I've said this multiple times. I mean, the way he can manipulate and bend the joints, the fingers, or any part of the human anatomy, I automatically get that feeling like, oh my gosh, he's doing it. He is.
Yes, yeah.
I'm like,
I don't know really anymore. I'm gutted that I'm losing so badly. The match was good. Everybody's feeling. There's Usi chants, which I love, by the way. Even
Usi rocks. That's the new theme for everybody. Well, Riddles is up there, but I mean Usi's still over. I mean that's got to be the one.
The bong stuff with Riddle was good this week, but when he said Usi, it just felt a bit cringy, to be honest.
Yeah, and when he said the other term too, Veed or something, it didn't. That didn't sound right coming from Riddle.
Keep to the bong stuff, boy. But yeah, they won with a tremendous 1D off the top rope, which is, if anybody that's an old school fan that probably isn't watching the main roster these days, it's kind of a 3D basically, but they call it the 1D because they're the ones, and so are we. So I don't know. Maybe
we are, and I mean, why not? You got to go with that finisher, and you got to go with the bloodline. As much as I like the Brawling Brutes, we selected the champions to retain.
Of course, yeah. The Usos extended their near history-making tag team reign this Friday on SmackDown. We're going to see history regardless of whether the New Day beat the Usos or whether the Usos retain and become the longest reigning WWE tag team champions in history. We'll see how that pans out, really. But yeah, I enjoyed this match. It was a good match at Crown Jewel, to be fair.
Oh, it was. I mean, I'm with you. There's really not much to say. It was a lot of action. I think Ridge Holland and Butch, a.k.a. Pete Dunne, they worked tremendous together, and so did the Usos. And I'm actually glad we might see this or more of it, at War Games. I think these guys can definitely deliver. They've proven themselves, and I want to see more. It's like Christmas come early. Come on.
Yeah, I want to see the Brawling Brutes versus the Bloodline. I want to see some combination of that. I want to see that. But whether that's going to happen, I have no idea. We're still waiting for Sheamus to return. Obviously,
I think Sheamus may need to return first.
Yeah, he was written off TV with that injury, and it was quite horrific what they did with the chair and stuff like that. But obviously,
it was brutal.
Yeah, but it did come out on Twitter that he also got married with his time off. So congratulations!
And congratulations! Yeah, I echo that. That's how good of a team we are. We knew what we were thinking.
There you go. But yeah, no, it was a good tag team match. Moving on though, as we're not quite running out of time, we almost are. Actually, we've probably gone a bit longer than I wanted, but there we go. Hopefully, everybody's enjoying the show, and I appreciate everybody listening and downloading when you can. It just means the episode will be released a tad late, but obviously you're not going to know that because it's not out yet. So it's kind of me apologizing from the past. So don't worry, it will be up soon.
See, you're already playing mind games with everybody.
There you go. Hello from the past is what you should say on podcasts. Because that's a
great title.
Raw Women's Championship match, last woman standing match. What did you think of this one, Ty?
I thought it was fun. I'll tell you what was it? Bayley hit her knee on the chair. That looked wicked. I was everybody was kind of worried about her, and rightfully so. I think even Bayley took the bump over the table. That was kind of looked scary too. Anytime you're having to take any kind of move on the table, it's going to be risky. I thought the golf cart thing was pretty comical.
I was worried about that when she was driving down. I was like, don't fall off, for goodness sake.
I was too. I was like, there was a lot of moments. It was definitely last woman standing. They were up to par there. And where it looked like Bianca was going to be locked into the box was, I thought, well, Bayley could win it just by locking her. A lot of people were picking up on that. But, I enjoy Bianca and Bayley. It's just the same thing we've been talking about with damage control. Since Bayley didn't win the title, I'm afraid it's time to move on. And I think after War Games, we mentioned it when we were doing Raw, the results. I don't know, even though this was a good match and she brought the ladders in, they definitely introduced the weapons. But in the end, it was Bianca. And I think I went with Bayley. I actually went against Bianca for the prediction.
Oh, I did too. I agreed with you. So neither of us get a point for that one. To be honest, if you go back and watch this match in a couple of years' time without the context of all the other stuff that's gone on, the match itself is really good from start to finish. The finish was a little bit meh for me, but other than that, it was clever putting her in the ladder and putting her under the corner rope. And
it was. I mean, it was different, but it was still accomplished what it needed to. But yeah, there was nothing wrong with the match. It had a lot of the other elements, with the weapons. But you broke it down. The match itself was good.
Yeah, that's all I can really say, really. But we both got it wrong, so neither of us scores any points on that
See,
one.
I got one thing wrong.
There you
I'm
go.
proud of myself.
Almost. What, you're proud that you got it wrong? That's not the way life's supposed to be.
I know. I don't know. I think I was playing mind games and messed myself up.
Well, if you confuse yourself, you definitely confuse me and everybody else. Moving on to the main event, undisputed WWE Universal Championship on the line. Roman Reigns versus Logan Paul. Now, let's face it, me and you. I'm going to say it right out now. Roman Reigns was both our picks, so that ends up leaving us at Tyler with 6 and me with 3. So Tyler wins 2 pay-per-views in a row, which we already knew.
Acknowledge me.
Acknowledge you. Hang on, it's only 2. Come on. When you get to 3, I'll acknowledge you.
Yeah, 3, yeah.
Can I break this? If you get to 3, we can start calling it a streak as well. So we'll see what happens.
I could be the Undertaker?
Well, maybe you have to get to 20 for that. At least 21. Anyway,
well, that's true. I'm getting a little ahead of myself.
If anybody wants to fund it In the Corner Heavyweight Championship, feel free to do so, and we can flaunt it online when we become the champion. We'll
have to fly it back and forth because BenNy will have his.
I think, to be honest, mate, I understand what you mean, but I think, to be honest, we'll just get 2 made and we'll just have one each.
That's true. Yeah, we better do the double championship
just in case, man. We'll look at that. I might look at that because at the end of the day, this is kind of a new thing. We've always done the predictions, but I think it's quite cool to have a little bit of competition in it. But you're winning. You're beating me 2-0 at the moment, which is cool. I'm enjoying the conversation, mate. But the undisputed title match, Roman versus Logan Paul. None of us really thought Logan was going to walk out with the title. But you may not like Logan Paul, but that guy can sell. That guy can go. My only gripe I have with this match, Ty, I have two technically, but the main one, I'm not going to say the other one because I feel it's obvious, but I'll say two. Bugger it. I'll say two. One is, let's just make Logan Paul a heel. He's already got that cockiness about him.
He might as well be. He's got the attitude.
And two, the only gripe I have with this match, and this is the one thing, this might be me being really picky, especially in the first, I want to say 10, 15 minutes of the match, Logan Paul just moves a bit too quick for me in a sense of when he's about to do a high-risk move or a certain move, he seems a bit too urgent and a bit too sort of like, I've got to hit this and get it right. And I understand that, and I appreciate that he's trying to get it right. It's almost like he's too quick on his own feet. He needs to kind of slow down a smidge just so he doesn't end up hurting himself or anybody else. Luckily, well, apparently he did hurt himself according to
he was
social
injured.
media. But do you know what I mean? Like he's running at somebody too quickly and they're not ready for him. That's what I'm
probably excited. Do you think it's just that adrenaline?
Probably. But other than that, this guy put on a hell of a match. I don't care what anybody says. You can send your hate to @InTheCorner at WWE on Twitter.
I'll take some of the hate.
There you go. Dustin Tyler 86, I think it is your Twitter handle.
Yeah, so drop all of it.
Yeah. But this guy, we did say, didn't we, that we know he isn't going to walk out with the championship, but this guy could have the potential to look absolutely amazing. And for somebody who's only had 3 matches in WWE, he's taking it seriously. The selling he did was brilliant.
He's amazing.
The jump off the top rope with the phone, I was like,
that was clever.
It was cocky as. This is why I think he should be a heel. But I don't know if you've seen the actual footage from that phone, Tyler.
I think I saw a little bit of
God.
it, and it was unreal.
Absolutely.
I mean, just to see the way he's holding it. I'm surprised his phone didn't break.
Yeah, I could live without Jake Paul, to be honest, and the rest of it, but it all worked.
Yeah, I wasn't crazy about Jake Paul's involvement, but I realized why they had to do it. He was there, so.
But overall, what a good match, to be honest. I mean, that's my thoughts. I mean,
it was a good match. I'm impressed by Logan Paul. I mean, you say what you want to. I know he comes off as arrogant, but that's what makes him so good. Like you said, he needs to be the bad guy because he gets heat so easy. And Logan Paul, man, he worked well with Roman Reigns, so he's taken the business seriously. He's taken his training with Shawn Michaels very serious as well, and it shows that the guy's actually taken to wrestling, and I think that's what bothers some of the wrestling community. It's like, here's this social media guy that, sure, he wrestled or boxed, and he's got the brother that boxes too, and Jake Paul, but I said this, when I got to see him wrestle his first match, WrestleMania was impressive with The Miz when he teamed, but when he got to take on The Miz at SummerSlam, I believe it was his second match and The Miz had Ciampa and Maurice by his side. Those two clicked, and as good as that match was, man, what he was able to do, he and Roman Reigns, was just stellar. I thoroughly enjoyed this match.
Yeah, match of the night, and it's always good when Roman comes out. That music, and we've already said it before, the presentation.
It's big time.
Yeah. Logan Paul, yeah. I don't know whether the injury is genuine or kayfabe or whatever, because the ones he's saying that he's done.
I'm not sure either. And knowing the way Paul carries himself, sometimes people, they're starting to question whether it could be a work.
And do you know what? I'm fine with that if it's a work. To be honest, it adds a layer to the story. So it
does. I'm with you.
Yeah, he took it to Roman, and not to the point where I feel Logan could have won the title. There was probably a moment where you thought, "Oh God, this could happen." But when he took the way he took the Superman punch in the spear at the end of the match again, and that's just a small sampling of it, but this guy, he did that jump off the top rope into the table on Roman. And he kind of like went, yeah, and then he was like, and selling it, and just he was. He may be disrespectful in the way he says things, maybe on social media, and the way he's been in the past, but it does feel like he respects the wrestling business in WWE, and if not anything else, Roman Reigns and what they do on a weekly basis. So if he decides to do, somebody said this to me the other day, would you like to see him full time? I said, I don't know, but like if he's going to do it, they need to have a conversation with him. And if you make him full time, it could be interesting. And I tell you what, and if he's improving as quickly as he's improved after 3 matches,
just 3. That's what's hard
insane.
to believe.
He could be absolutely, and he looked so good. Like I said, my only gripe, slow down a little bit because he looks like
he was going too quick.
He's too excited, like in a sense of like the other guy may not be ready for him. That's what I mean when he's too quick. But other than that,
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, if you watch the first 10 minutes of that match, I feel like you can see it, and he's like maybe nerves. Despite he probably wouldn't admit that he was nervous, but like...
Well, and it has to be, because even if you're used to a big stage, nothing quite prepares you to you there, and especially getting a match against Roman Reigns, the guy that's, holds the 2 championships, and you're in a foreign country too. It's a whole different ballgame and atmosphere, but it's still on that WWE platform.
Yeah, of course, yeah. And he obviously wants to prove that he can, when he's given a task to do, and do he can do it well. I mean... The fact that he got to train with Shawn Michaels is an achievement. It's really cool that he gets to do that.
It's everybody's dream. I mean, who don't want to get a chance to train with HBK?
I can see how I normally look at matches, Ty. Is it like, could I see myself watching this back in a few years' time? Roman versus Logan, I could see me watching this back in about a year or two. Just to remind myself of it. We might be talking about this. They might be talking about this on Chain Wrestling by episode 200, maybe.
Oh, I could see it happening. I could see podcasts breaking down this match and going back analyzing it, because it was worthy of it. I mean, both guys put in the work. We all know how talented Roman Reigns is, but let's not discredit the contributions of Logan Paul in the match. He
Absolutely.
Was, like you said, he blew a lot of people's minds. Just in every match, he backs up what he's saying. Yeah. Even if you don't understand his promos, like at the press conference. Yeah. Like I'm the table.
Yeah, I'm the table. So you want Roman to sit at you? What are you on about?
Well, that's what was funny, but we get what he was trying to say. Yeah. It happens to all of us. But to the point of the match, Bud, he just seems to be the guy that he'll take the risk, but he tries to respect the business, like you were alluding to, and he puts the effort in. It's like Pat McAfee, even on commentary in his matches. I mean, he wore that neck brace. I mean, Pat was definitely McAfee. Not that I know him on a first name basis, but he at least regarded the tradition of wrestling. So that's really neat. When even if you're a fan or a celebrity coming in, if they at least treat the business seriously, it makes you have a whole nother level of respect for them.
It's wrestling fans, some of us are really fickle. We kind of are sometimes as well with certain things.
Oh yeah, I'm fickle a lot of times. Yeah. That's an admission I think we all could attest to.
Yeah, but when the guys put the effort in to have a match to, like I said, put the effort in. You said it nice, really good. To be fair, like it is worthy. It's a good match, and I think he's going to be proud of himself, and he's a cocky git. But but I'd was
be
really
proud
good.
Of that too. I have to be serious and transparent. If I was Logan Paul, I would be proud of it. Heck, I may even video record everybody's reaction to it. But just to be even more of a heel, that's what Theory has done with his cell phone. But as good as Austin Theory, Logan Paul's actually done it. So to me, that gimmick's almost tailor-made for Logan Paul, to be honest.
Yeah, or maybe even Austin Theory and Logan Paul team at some point.
Or
maybe.
Team, yeah. I could see that. Maybe that's a good pairing.
That'd be an interesting dynamic, wouldn't it? Because Austin Theory can talk better than Logan at the moment in the sense of trying to cut a promo. Mm-hmm. Logan can learn that. Look how much he's learned in 3 matches. Now, I thought he was good with Miz in the tag team match. I didn't understand it at the time in a sense of why he's there. And then he had the match with the Miz, and I thought, damn, this guy can, I didn't feel watching it like it was out of place, any of it. And then the same with Roman.
No, it wasn't. And he did a spot, I think, through the table on Miz, even in that match.
Yeah, so I mean, even like in the sense of, like I said, just slow down a little bit, make sure your opponent's ready for you. That's my only gripe, really. Other than that, it was a good match. I enjoyed it from start to finish, and don't get me wrong, I did sigh a relief of, Roman's still the heavyweight champion. Or
I did
is
too,
right
because
with the
there was
world.
that one moment. Yeah, not to cut you off, but there was that moment where Roman barely got the shoulder up.
Yes, yeah, but it was a great match. I think we've said that enough. If you haven't seen it, I recommend it, and I honestly, like I said, I can see myself watching this back. If you're going to put a compilation of matches together, I think this would make it. I don't know whether it make my top 10 at the moment, but it would definitely make it into a compilation of, do you remember that time when Roman took on Logan Paul? Do you know what? We thought that was going to be absolutely pants, and it was amazing. So, it is what it is.
Yeah, it lived up to all the hype. And I wanted to say it was amazing one more time, Benny. I mean, we are the tag team champions. Come on.
There we go. Right. So, Tyler, before we go, we will pick our poll for next week, mate. Where can we find you and what you're up to outside of In the Corner when you're not teaming up with myself and getting the hot tags in?
You can find me at Dustin Tyler 86 on Twitter. You can also find me on other podcasts and doing some writing for WrestleBuddy.com and also their other website, GeekBuddy.com. You can also find me on another program that's featured on SJP Media Network, or that's World Media Network, with the Scottish Juggalo Danny, as he and myself are a tag team, and we host the Back When podcast. And there's so many others too that deserve a mention, but I'll just say, and also In the Corner with Benny Mac. I mean, for crying out loud, come on, that deserves a plug.
Thank you, I appreciate it. You can find my own Twitter at Benny Mac on Twitter, BenNnyMack. Obviously, In the Corner is the main one you're going to follow if you're listening to this right now. At In the Corner WWE, we are on Wednesdays and Sundays mainly. It's a bit weird with the show. Wednesdays and Sundays we do the show normally. When there's a premium event, we have a Saturday edition that comes out because obviously the pay-per-view comes out, and we want to talk about SmackDown before the pay-per-view. So it does change a little bit, but generally we're Wednesday, Sunday here at SJP World Media. And just before we go, then we need some names for the poll, man. For next week's poll, who you wanted to put female wrestlers ahead. So who would you like to put forward, or do you want me to go first? It's up to you. You won, so technically you have the choice to go first, really.
Well, and I'll be intrigued to hear your ideas. Here's a popular one, and she's from over near the UK, Ireland, Becky Lynch. I think that's a good one.
Okay.
Becky, yeah. And let me, the other one, let's go with...
Are you going to put two forward?
Two forward?
Are you going to put two? So who are you going to put forward? Are you going to put Becky Lynch forward, or there's only one we want from you, Ty? So.
Oh yeah, Becky. Okay, Becky Lynch. I never was good at math. That's why I've got my tag team party. Yeah, Becky Lynch and Benny. Who do you want? You can pick four. I don't know.
Do you know what? I've got two here because I didn't know who you were going to pick. To be honest with you,
I'm laughing at myself.
No worries, man. You broke me, man. You've broken me.
I've broken the host here.
Yeah, I said we both need to put them forward. I meant me, then you. That's what I meant.
Okay. I'll tell you, not only am I out of Tennessee in the U.S., so we're a little bit slower. No, we're really not, but it's a joke I make a lot. Yeah.
Self-deprecating. So you're putting the man Becky Lynch forward?
Oh, yeah, the man Becky Lynch.
Yeah.
I think that would be different. Hey, and she played Cyndi Lauper on the Young Rock.
Did she? I've not seen any of Young Rock at all.
I haven't either. I saw the clips. That's the only reason I know. But do yourself a favor. Go and watch that. She does an amazing impersonation of Cyndi Lauper.
Oh, okay. I might have to go in there. I don't know where I can watch Young Rock over here in the UK, but I'm sure I'll be able to find it somewhere. Do you know what? Since you've gone for Ireland, I've got two names here. But I am going to... So we'll do... you've done Becky Lynch, who's from Ireland. Paige. I'm going to put Paige forward.
Paige is another good one.
For only person ever, I believe, to be the current NXT Women's Champion and then win the Divas Championship as well, even though they didn't mention the fact that she had it on Raw. She was actually...
Which was weird.
Yeah, but she was the actual NXT Women's Champion at the time. So, yeah, I'm going to put Paige forward for that. So, yeah, there you go. Those are our poll. That will be up shortly. You'll be able to vote on that, obviously. I've just realised...
Yeah, go vote.
And hopefully I would like to win something on my own creation of my show, but it is what it is. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, now Benny's like, okay, Tyler is winning too much.
Kicking my ass, man.
Down his ego. It's enough.
Yeah, well,
You're fired.
Next week, Tyler will not be here because he's beat me too. No, he will be here.
We'll see. I don't know. I may pop up.
You are, but you are co-host, mate. Co-host for life, as they say. In the corner for life. I'm trying to do like an NWO thing, but I don't think it's quite translating. Let's end the show while we can. Ty, thank you very much for joining me once again here on In the Corner.
Oh, hey, it's my pleasure. You're most welcome, Benny, and it's always a good time.
And we will see everybody and Tyler next week on In the Corner. Thank you very much for listening here on SGP World Media. Go check out the other shows, RSH, back when, with Ty. I'm going to go now before I butcher anybody else's show, but check out the SJP World Media Network, and we'll see you on Sunday.